All right. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Sorry it's like such a late start. We just got to talking like off stream and realized it was quarter after.
We're a little, or at least I was a little late getting on the call anyway.
Yeah. All right. So tonight we have Brady Hartel, who's you were responsible for the the producer of the restoration of the Sonic CD intro and ending in this collection, which just came out this past Thursday. Was it Thursday? I think, yeah.
I think so. My time perception of time is like blurred. I've been working on a bunch of like all-nighter projects, so like I'm a little tired. But yeah, I was the producer for the remaster restoration of the Sonic CD opening and ending sequences for this, which was a lot of fun. And I work with a really talented team of people, which I'll name drop them at some point.
I mean, I have not seen the finished product of that. I mean, is it redrawn or like?
So I don't know if Coury can go.
I can
go into it.
Yeah, I have.
You can at least play the intro, right?
Yeah, I've watched it.
Oh, okay.
And I should be able to get it in the museum here.
It's not redrawn. We were able for the intro. We were able to get a capture. We were able to get a capture of it in standard definition that was clean for the intro, and so it was.
So a capture that was not from a Sega CD, though.
Correct. So we puzzled this out while working on it.
Where would that have existed? Even like, was it released on like a laser disc or?
So the first place that this appeared in the cell animation is on Sonic Jam for Sega Saturn, and then they released it on Sonic Mega it was on Sonic Mega Collection and then Sonic Gems. They released different versions of it. But the original Sega CD version, the best that we can figure out is they digitized the cell version, and then they went in and cleaned up all of it to make it like pixel animation.
I see.
So they did some sort of they cut the colors down to like 15 colors or whatever, and then they went in by hand to
draw over it, essentially.
Sense.
Yeah, essentially they cleaned up all the key. Yeah,
that's how they did Time Gal, I think.
Oh, really?
I mean, because Time Gal looks like it's been redrawn compared to like Road Avenger and Cobra Command, I think. Like, those are more grainy and yeah. How does
well, it has that like dithering effect, right? Whereas like Time Gal isn't like all dithered, which is what I'm pretty sure they did for the original Sonic CD. And in fact, if you watch the original Sonic CD, the animation is they added little like touches. Like if you watch the ending when Sonic runs in with Amy Rose and puts her down, and then he runs away. In the actual cell animation, she just stands there. But in the pixel art version, her like dress like flickers in the wind and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And we actually found like on certain frames, there's like the signature of the artist who was touching it up in like the corner of it, like his like name. Cause like, I mean, you were involved in this a little bit where you helped me by getting captures.
I think I accidentally.
Oh yeah.
Did I just like run an ad on accident?
An add-on?
No, I think I might just ran an ad by accident.
Oh really?
Did an ad pop up for you? There was a notification on the YouTube Studio that I thought was trying to say that we accidentally forgot to turn on monetization. But
no.
I think it was like, here, insert an ad.
Oh, no.
Sorry
about that. Yeah.
Whoops.
So let me think. Where was I? So yeah. So that's the process of that. So I'm guessing that they had animated this, and then once the technology caught up, they were able to use the original video, right? Like the cell animation, because it's literally ink and paint cell animation. No, it was the PC version that was the first place that this showed up in like 160p or 120p or something, like really super tiny. At the we were able to get a clean standard definition capture of the master tape of this of the opening, and since it was from I'm guessing that it's from the 90s or whatever, like it's from way back then. It was a telecine, but it was generalized properly, 30 frames a second. It looked it looked good, but it did have like dot crawl and all that sort of thing. So I ended up working with two very talented like AI trainers, Austin and Christian, who they like their spare time is they do film scans of old. They have a film scanner, so they scan films, but they also like they like to experiment in AI upscaling and stuff. And in fact, they've been working on another show I've been working on too. They upscaled. There are parts of Darkstalkers which were very similar to this. There's Darkstalkers anime in it. It was sort of edited on digital, and they manipulated it and ruined some of the animation. But so they ended up training AI using footage from this era, right? So it's ink and paint, so the characters are flat and the backgrounds are painted. And so what they did is they took a bunch of other footage reference that was similar to this and trained an AI and upscaled, and it did an upscale of the footage. And what we ended up finding is that because Sonic is so flat and the backgrounds are so textured, that we would either end up getting really, really flat, everything flat, right? Or really, really textured. So Sonic would look really textured. So what we ended up doing is taking that footage and then doing two training passes. So we trained it, or they trained it. So one was completely like a textured pass and then a flat pass. And so then what I did is I overlaid both of them over each other. And then with my friend Elaine, who's a production assistant at Discotek, she works at Discotek with me, or on Discotek project with me, but she's a friend of mine. So I contracted her, and then we rotoscoped Sonic. We rotoscoped any cell part from the background. So that's why Sonic in this has that flat cell look.
Right.
And
that's something I didn't really know much about until relatively recently. Like I've never been a huge fan of AI upscaling, but it's been more recent that I've learned like there's this whole like training aspect and like working on making it more kind of bespoke for your purpose, right? So, like for example, Chrono Cross, they did nothing.
Oh.
Or seemingly, right?
Right.
But I've started like seeing like kind of the value in like instances like this where like, oh, like if you do the AI upscaling right, like it's actually very useful.
Yeah, I mean, in a situation like this, it's very directed, right? So like we trained the AI to be able to work on this footage specifically, right? We didn't just use a general model. So it ended up having, we trained it on stuff that looks like this and was done by the same studio and what have you. And after we did the compositing, then, there's going in and looking through, trying to make sure, you got to unlock the ending.
I was thinking I was going to play through the story mode, which is something that you just like play through all the games sequentially. But like, I love the fact that, Sonic CD is listed as 2 because it was the real 2.
Yes. Yeah. It's weird because it's like with the production of this, it's like the the alternate look in the where turn left and turn right. So like 2 is God, what is his name? The director of it,
Yuji Naka.
Yuji Naka directed 2 at Sega of America,
right?
And then what is his name?
Yeah, who did? I don't remember who did.
I'm trying to remember his name because I don't want to butcher it. Naoto Oshima. Naoto Oshima was the director of Sonic CD. And playing Sonic CD, it's very much like Sonic 1, where Sonic 2 has got like such a different flavor to it, right? Like completely.
Yeah. I mean, I've said before that the first one's the only one that I really love, and I do like Sonic CD more than 2. Although I do wonder if it's changed, if my opinion has changed.
2 is I would say that 2 is a much more kinetic game, frenetic.
Yes.
If you know how to play 2, you can just keep Sonic going,
right?
For forever. If you know how to, if you're really good at playing it.
I think that's always kind of been the sticking point for me with the series in general. Like I mean, neither me or Coury is like the biggest Sonic fan.
Yeah, but I mean, I love the first one. I got the day it came out, and I still have my release day copy. And I've you wouldn't know by watching me play it right now, but I've played it a lot in my life. And,
I mean, Sonic 1 is much more of a puzzle game almost, right?
Right, and you can tell it was not about the
start, stop, and which I mean, it's weird because I definitely think Sonic 2 uses the character and concept of Sonic better, but Sonic 1, and honestly, even more like Sonic 1 Master System, is kind of more my style of platformer. I mean, it's weird because if you think of something like Mario 1, I love just blowing through Mario 1, or the Donkey Kong Country games, those are also very momentum based.
Come on, what
am I doing? In a way, a different kind of speed and momentum, but
you never know that I'd played this a lot in my life. I just was trying to get back so I could get to the bonus stage, because the bonus stages, the rotating bonus stages, is 60 FPS in this.
Oh,
are they? That's nice. That's really cool. Sonic 2's bonus stage looks really cool.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching that.
Okay.
Really nice.
I haven't seen any of that kind of stuff for the new version. But Sonic 2, it definitely all of the levels are very cool how they're designed, where it's you can go up, down. There's so many paths through the level, and they all kind of connect. But I guess
they're big, but not too big in 2, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the levels in 3. I mean, as much as I love that game, I think the levels in 3 are too big.
Especially once you get to Knuckles, it's if you don't really know what you're doing, it's really easy to run out of time in the Knuckles stages.
Oh yeah, I mean, that said, in my life, I've probably played Sonic 1, 2, and 3 in CD more than any other game in my entire life. So for me at this point, it's not. But yeah, I remember that the ring spins in 60 frames too. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, see, that's like me with
you didn't jump in the ring.
I tried to get back. I don't know. I'm falling apart. I played through Green Hill Zone millions of times probably in my life, and it's just when there's eyes on me, I can't do it. I guess.
But yeah, I mean, that's like me in the Mario and Donkey Kong Country games. I can just blow through them. I'm so comfortable running through them. And I think that's part of the exhilaration people get from especially Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah.
It's they know those games so well, and when you can just blow through them without really losing your momentum, I mean, it's got to be exhilarating. But for someone who did not grow up with these games, it's a little the sphere is actual transparency.
Oh, it is, yeah.
The shield, yeah.
But Yeah, like these games have always been like just it feels like a game that like it's harder for me. Like there's a lot of games I've like been able to get into and just really love, like, you know, playing them for the first time as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
But Sonic to me, like I'm sure a lot of people would disagree, but Sonic to me just feels like something where you really need that childhood experience to really get the most out of it, because you have to like kind of learn your way through it to.
Whoa, can I not hit him?
Oh, you couldn't hit him before.
Yeah, I couldn't hit him before. I was
wow, yeah. I mean, I have heard a lot of people were really upset about a lot of mechanical changes and stuff in this, which I can understand for games that you know so well. You know, we'll see if Sega you know, incorporates any feedback. Yeah. No one knows. You know, I should get to super chats.
I would mention that I have no idea about any of that. Like I know about what I worked on. Like
you worked on the video. Like like here. Chris Fratz had a $1 super chat. Thank you, saying I hope the restored videos gets modded into the 2011 release of CD. Apparently, the ending video runs at an increased speed in Origins. I haven't beaten CD in Origins, so I have no clue. But I feel like checking that out myself. Now, I don't know what the ending video is. The ending video like another like animated thing, like the intro?
Yeah, it's all animated. So
was that restored as well?
Yeah, it was all restored. But
it sounds like is it like a game bug that's
the ending. So I provided them with a bunch of different versions, and they used whatever they wanted to use, and so it's it runs at the full 30 frames per second in the final game. So like I don't know what the reason is for that personally. I just worked on the footage, so
right.
That's a Ask Sega question.
That's a Sega question.
Yeah, I can't it's funny. The reason I ended up working on this is because one of my day jobs is I work on restoring animation and preservation, restoration of old anime, and I've worked with Tyson Hess on I did the compositing and the background animation for the Sonic Mania intro, and I also worked on the Chow in Space short. Doing the same thing, and so I knew him through that, and he suggested me because he knew, he knows I work on restoration of old cartoons essentially.
Yeah.
So that's how I got involved in this, and when they finally announced the first trailer for it, I know him, but I had no idea they had done all those new cutscenes and all that sort of stuff. So I was blown away by it. I was whoa, they went in and did all these new intros and everything. That's so cool,
Mm-hmm.
But I had no idea. I had no idea about it, anything other than what I worked on.
Yeah.
So it was such a cool thing to be able to see it for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you did it.
Got in the thing.
Finally, right?
You got in there.
By this point in the game, I'd probably be incapable of having enough rings by the end of the level.
See, that's why I like this first one, because it's not so much about knowing the level, I guess.
Okay, see, this does look cool to me, because I never liked how the Sonic 1 bonus stages looked.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, it was impressive for
sure. The Super Nintendo wasn't out yet, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's a game that I keep meaning to grab. I forget what the US version called, On the Ball or something. There's it's like a Super Nintendo and arcade game. The Japanese name is Camel Tree. Which
Camel Tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we played that during the Evercade stream, didn't we?
No, was it the Egret?
Oh, it might have been the Egret. Yeah.
I think it was the Egret.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep meaning to pick that up because that seems like a game. I don't know, it just looks fun.
Yeah, it's a fun.
But like, you know, like that kind of like, you know, that's using like hardware rotation and stuff.
Right.
You know, obviously, you know, early Genesis game, you're not gonna get that.
Well, it's, you know, it's interesting to me because like they do all this stuff on Genesis, and 99% of Genesis games don't use like mappers or extra chips or anything.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Super Nintendo is just like all about that, right?
Well,
like
I mean, you think so, but like really the NES was more about that.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, the different mappers, like most NES games use some kind of like mapper hardware, and there's just tons and tons and tons of different permutations on that. Super Nintendo is more like, but the thing is that hardware wasn't like an advertising bullet point.
Mhm.
Like they weren't like, ooh, this hardware lets you scroll vertically and horizontally, you know, like, and two, without like the expansion audio here, like it was just never like a marketing bullet point, even though like these chips did give the system like kind of expanded hardware capability. But like for Super Nintendo, they're like, you know, we should like, you know, sort of tout this.
I mean,
so,
I think it's interesting because like I think it's like one of the reasons why like you're seeing all this like Genesis homebrew, because there's like you don't need like all those different mappers and stuff to do Super Nintendo, right? And so like to recreate those like a game like that, you would have like, you know, to do an actual physical version of it, there's a lot more work involved, right? Like because you have to
I heard that I guess there was like some sort of like Genesis development tools that were created some years back, and that's like kind of why we've seen a lot of Genesis homebrew and like not so much Super Nintendo. Yeah, but then like you think about something like, you know, Donkey Kong Country, like that game uses no additional hardware. Like that is
that's really impressive,
pure
for sure.
Super Nintendo. Like there's really not that many for Super Nintendo in the grand scheme, and they really only promoted like the Super FX as like a, you know, marketing point.
Yeah,
like, because, you know, like Kirby Superstar, you know, Super Mario RPG, they were never like, oh, the power of the SA1 chip.
The SA1, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Mario Kart Pilot Wings, it was never like, ooh, the DSP chip.
Well, I'm impressed that Donkey Kong Country doesn't use some sort of decompression thing.
It doesn't do anything. That's just all like the thing with Donkey Kong Country is people think it's like it was all like, oh, it's just like, you know, the pre-rendered graphics is all it was about. But no, like Rare actually did like some like super like, you know, high end Super Nintendo coding.
I mean that's also
all of those like extra you know, line scrolling layers that makes it look like there's more parallax than there should be and stuff like that. Like that game would have been just as impressive with, you know, another art style, because it was coded so well, and you know, it's just they knew what they were really knew what they were doing.
That's
not
like
just
a video
with the
that
SDI
really
station.
bad.
Oh, I was going to say, I think if you go back, you can go to the secret, I think.
Oh.
You're too far, though, now.
Yeah.
So is this basically a port of the mobile widescreen version, or
I don't know for certain, but like that's my assumption. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, or is mostly based on that work.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously made changes, but like I don't know for sure. But yeah, I mean,
people have seemed surprised by several things, you know, not necessarily in a positive way. So maybe it is. Maybe there are changes beyond the mobile version, because I was under the impression the mobile version, this widescreen version of the game, is normally rather well liked. I think.
Yeah, I mean, we streamed that. Then we didn't. We streamed 2 because they were decompiled.
You played like the decompilation from like the Vita version, right?
Right.
Or that was put onto Vita, because there is no Vita version.
Okay, wow, I've never heard of that, but wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like the Mario 64 style, like decompilation type thing. Like, there's like a Jack and Daxter one coming now too. Like, that's got to be like a huge, like, jump up in complexity.
That Jack and Daxter thing. That Jack and Daxter thing's really like I'm not a fan of those games at all. Like I
love the first one. I've not really played much of the others.
They were never really my bag, but I do think that decompilation is like really impressive. Like they were like, yeah, they used this like special scripting language, and we figured out how to decompile that and rebuild it. And I'm just like, the people are like, fans are just like geniuses about some of this stuff, like
not gonna work
preservation wise. You did it.
No, I didn't.
Can you make it? No.
There was also another $1 super chat from Chris Fastergren saying, another thing I'm going to say is that even though it's just 480i video on a Blu-ray, I'm happy with the quality of the Discotek release of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I was the producer on that, and we, like...
I never knew you could do that. You could just, I mean, I guess with you don't have Spin Dash in the original, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Use those upgrade cheats. I think there's the drop dash too now as well in this, or maybe.
What's drop dash?
It's when you like you hold down and.
Yeah, but what's it from?
It's
Sonic Mania.
Okay.
M2 added that in the Sega Ages Switch.
Oh, really? I knew they did the. I knew they did the Spin Dash, but I didn't know about drop dash.
Yeah, that was in the. See, can I duck? I keep on wanting to duck under this. Is it still going to let me do it? No, is that something they took out? I wonder, because I feel like you could duck under this and just like.
Whoa.
Really?
Right? I never knew that. I never knew.
I mean,
like, is the lava higher up in this version?
No,
or
it doesn't.
It just works.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure someone in the chat can confirm it, because I mean that's why I kept on doing it. Like.
Well, I mean, this is like recoded, right? I mean, this is like running natively, I assume. So like,
it's all on the retro engine, right? Like the same thing Mania used in Sonic CD.
Oh, okay.
So I mean that's like, again, I don't know any of this 100% for sure, but like I'm pretty sure that this is they're all retro engine ports of these games. So the physics and stuff aren't exactly the same as like
it's rebuilt. I mean,
like completely. I think
much like Super Mario. I mean, think of this as like the Super Mario All-Stars version.
Oh yeah. That's actually a very good. I think
it's different. It's the same, but it is different.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So I'm mistaken. I guess I can't. You couldn't duck there, but where can you duck? Like I'm pretty sure you can. You can duck. What is under one of them, or one set of platforms? I mean, I am pretty sure of that. Like, does anybody know which one it is? There, I've never ducked under anything. Like, okay, now I feel like I'm crazy here, but I know that like you can.
you're having one of those Berenstain Bear moments right now.
I don't think so. This has got me real curious, because I feel as though you can.
You'll just have to boot up like the original one at some point. And
I'm going to. Like, I feel like I might want to just like pause this and.
Just boot up your actual Genesis and get all the way back here and be like, okay.
Well, no, I'm almost thinking about doing it, because like I can do it really easily. Like everyone's saying like is this something that like nobody ever?
Only you knew?
Yeah, maybe you knew.
It is.
Like I've never.
Maybe you should go find out right now.
I need to.
Do it.
Go ahead.
I saw Hardcore in the chat say, hold on there, Try. DKC technically is not that impressive. Nothing that impressive about pre-rendered graphics. Same reason why technically RE1 Remake is not impressive. I saw, who did I see? Yeah, I see Video Game Obsession says they do a ton of optimizing from original SGI colors. That is true. Like, I mean, there is like
respriting, essentially.
Yeah, well, just like you were talking about, like how in the Sega CD version, they digitized the animation, but then they did a lot of hand touch-up
Yeah.
to, like,
yeah.
make it pop on the hardware. And I'm sure DKC had a lot of the same process.
Oh, for sure.
Go watch on Digital Foundry Hardcore. Watch John Linneman did a great DF retro on Donkey Kong Country. I believe that included some of the interviews that he did with some of the Platonic people.
I mean, it's the same thing as Mortal Kombat, right? Because they touched all that up too.
Yeah. So, but no, it does a lot of technical things just on top of the pre-rendered graphics. The fact that it was, scrolled so smoothly and had so many layers of parallax. Not every game on Super Nintendo did that kind of stuff because,
Well, the Super Nintendo was not the scroll monster that the Genesis was, right? So, like, to get it to do that was a lot of work. And the thing I'll say about Donkey Kong Country is, like, sure, people say, oh, well, the graphics and stuff, but, like, there's so much to do in that game and so many exits and so many, like, secrets and stuff. Like, I remember as a kid coming home, and I had a friend, or I had twins who were my friends, and we had just both gotten Donkey Kong Country. And every day after school, we would sit at the bus stop, and because this was before, like, there was like a Nintendo Power or something that had like all the secrets or whatever, and we would sit there and just try and figure out like all the secrets and all the different things you could do in that game. And it's a massive game, and I don't think if it didn't have all that on top of the the gameplay and the CG or whatever, like it's more than just a platformer. Like, there's a lot to that game to get through it and to 100% it, right? Like, I just remember we would be like, well, what if you jump down here into this part? And then we would die because we would go like farm lives so we could try different stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
to find the exits.
And there's all sorts of little areas that like sort of entice you. Like, hey, maybe there could be something interesting over there. But and on Resident Evil 1 remake, I mean, sure, it does use pre-rendered backgrounds, but there is still a lot of artistry that went into those pre-rendered backgrounds that was, like, from a technical and artistic perspective, very impressive. And also the fact that the backgrounds have all of these sort of very smooth and well done pre-rendered animations built into it. I'm sure it was not necessarily a trivial task to implement that so smoothly on the GameCube hardware. And on top of that, the character models are very good, and all that. So I mean, I don't think it's fair to say that pre-rendered backgrounds are always a crutch, especially when the results are so well executed. Because quality graphics doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how hard the hardware is pushed. It's about making smart technical decisions for the hardware that you're running on. Like, for example, like I just, for whatever reason, decided a few weeks ago I was going to replay Final Fantasy 13. I did this time. I did on the Xbox Series X, and I originally played on PS3 back in the day. I platinumed it, and then my PS3 Yellow Light of Death, and I lost my save. So it was nice to like actually have a save in that game again. I'm not going to platinum that again though, or 1,000 out of 1,000 or whatever you call it for Xbox. But like something that really jumped out at me was like, man, like that game looks so good still. Like, just the art holds up so well, and a lot of that I think is because they were using sort of reflection techniques and shadowing techniques that did not produce a lot of artifacts. They were mature imaging techniques that that just rendered well on that hardware. And then after that, like, it started getting much more common where you have like these like these more global shadow maps and screen space reflections and stuff like that. And like, that stuff is nice when done really, really well, but like they often have these jagged shadow edges, and the reflections like fade in and out the corners. Like, I just really appreciate how like the techniques used in the techniques used in Final Fantasy 13 were, maybe pushing less boundaries, but it in some ways produced more attractive results for the tier of hardware that it was designed for, in my opinion. Just kind of looking at it in retrospect.
I mean, it's all about like what can you do with the power you have, right?
Versus with the hardware, yeah. So
like talking about Resident Evil, like the remake, right? Like that. I mean, I would shudder for people to like not like that's like an amazing piece of artistry. Like it doesn't matter that it's 3D, pre-rendered, right? Like there's a lot of work that goes into that. Not only just to do all the artistry of it, but like to figure out how to make all the shadows work properly over that.
Oh yeah.
All that, like to make it look as good as it does. And then like it's like there's like the tech just to do like, I mean, it's not easy, like, and especially in older games, it's not easy to run like long flip books of video, and like all of those levels are like alive in that game in the remake, right? Like there's all sorts of movement, and like running footage like that is not like simple to make it like work all in like tandem, where it's not like losing frames or looks like crap or whatever, right? Or low resolution.
And I feel like that's kind of almost become a lost art. Even just like video playback in a lot of games is very juddery. Like I even see it oftentimes, like especially on like Switch, where like there might be like a pre-rendered video that's like a company logo, and
it's dropping frames,
and it's like it's freezing up like crazy. It's terrible, and I'm sure that the frames are there on the Switch cart, but they just like
it is. So I gotta find out. Pretty sure.
Oh,
so it's not that one. But
well, the ones that you were trying to do it on, in
I was trying to do it
Origins were like they were taller series of blocks, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't remember which ones.
Let's just experiment on all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like video playback is often just like it's really bad, especially on Switch, and I just. I hate to bring up Final Fantasy 13 again, but like that game blew me away. The first time I played it, like how good the FMV looks on, especially on PS3. The version you play on Series X.
I feel like it's this one. I feel like it is. Look it. I knew it.
It's like the white blocks in Mario 3.
What? Oh man, I've never.
Is this a Coury Carlson special?
Is that? I mean, special. Like what I want to know is like now I kind of want to go back and play because like I don't know if I tried it on that one. Is that this is a release day copy of this game, so I don't know. Maybe it was like fixed.
You got
in a later version
on release day.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the American version is earlier than the Japanese version. The Japanese version is the one with
right. That has parallax to the clouds.
Yeah, it's got parallax in the clouds and the lines flowing in the underwater section.
And she's like coming down. She's like, "What were you yelling about?" Hey, she's real excited about it now.
It's like, yeah, ducking.
Yeah, looks like
vindicated.
Yes.
Vindicated.
Yeah, looks like people are quite surprised.
Not for resale game version. Is it a release?
Because you already had a Genesis when this came out.
Look at this. I even wrote in it. It says hold A, press up, down, left, right, hold A, and press start. I don't know if is that the level select code?
Probably, yeah, I think so.
So I need to know. I wonder if that was like in the other. That's in the other version.
Are you going to go back?
Well, I kind of need to now. I feel like.
Was it the right one that you were trying to do it on?
No, I'm pretty sure I tried to do it on that one too. Yeah. I think, but maybe I didn't. So I don't know. I knew it though. I knew it.
So there was
that's got to be very satisfying.
Yeah, right. Because I know that I've done it. Like I'm very curious whether or not. I refuse to believe that nobody else ever found that.
I know, but like, did you ever used to think that about things as a kid? Like Drum always likes to say how, like, when he found like the warp space in Star Fox, he felt like oh my gosh, like I gotta tell Nintendo Power, like no one else, like maybe no one else knows about this.
Whoa, nobody knows. Well, I remember like what was it, the Justin Bailey code, where there was some kid in my school named Justin Bailey, and
gosh,
there was like a whole thing where like he was pretending like his like uncle worked for Nintendo, you know, the old story, and like oh yeah, they put that code in there just for me. And it's like, whoa, and it's whoa, you know, like stuff like that.
He actually has a pretty believable story with that, if that is his name.
Yeah, his name was Justin, but yeah, I remember that. There was a kid named Justin Bailey.
So he was like, I need to catch up on the super chats.
So can I do a level select? I saw people saying that I could, like, if playing through story mode, I could go through and choose levels somehow.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Like, should I'll just do it. I'll just do it from in the anniversary mode on here then. I'm pretty sure that I might already be here. Well, it's far enough. We'll just do this. So it's Act 2. Like, I refuse to believe that that's never been found.
I like, as many times as I've played this, I've never.
Well, I'm sure other people have found it, but like maybe they just didn't think anything about it, and it's just probably not that widely known.
I will say Container 7 super chat of $5 because Coury is checking the Genesis version.
Yeah. That was a while back, but yes. Let me catch up on the others. There was 2 from Kevin J. James 27 minutes ago. Sorry about that. We've been chatty. Saying, does the 16:9 aspect ratio improve navigation? It looks like Sonic is in, kind of locked to the middle-ish of the screen. So, like, I guess it expands the field of view somewhat. It might make it a little easier. I don't know. What do you what do you think of the widescreen? Do you like it, Coury?
I like it visually. It definitely has messed me up on the bosses though.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like the trade-off, right? Like you get to see what's coming earlier, essentially, like because there's not really much like a change in Sonic's position. But the other thing is like it changes the timing on things a little bit because like you're spawning the enemies sooner, right?
Right.
So like it's a trade-off. Like I played through and loved the Sonic CD version, the 16:9. And I didn't feel like it really. I felt like it added more than it took away. But I am glad that one of the modes in this is the 4x3 original. That you can just play it like it was before, just so you can have that same sort of feel.
Right. It's so I was kind of bummed that they removed the like the filters from Sonic Mania, like the CRT filters and stuff like that, because I thought the filters were so
some
good.
Of the best ones.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realize Sonic
Mania
had
not really
filters.
video options in this at all. I don't think.
No. What I did notice though is like the swinging ball like rotates. In the original, it just kind of stays the.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh yeah.
And I don't like you can jump behind that. Like that screws me up for sure.
There was also $1 from Chris Fratz. Sorry, that was 15 minutes ago. Saying, is the retro engine wrapped into Hedgehog Engine 2, which powers the menu and injects things like coins into the game. So it's like Hedgehog Engine 2, like what they like run like the modern games on or something. So like basically like when you stick like an emulator inside Unity or whatever, similar concept maybe.
So Hedgehog Engine is the engine they developed for originally for Sonic Unleash, and they've been developing on it ever since. Like, Sonic Unleashed is a beautiful game. Like if you look at it even now, like it's a really
technically interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good. And so like, I'm assuming Hedgehog Engine 2 is the engine they're building for Frontiers, I guess, but it's their own engine. And I'm not sure. Like maybe they used Hedgehog engine to make the wraparound stuff, but like I mean, my assumption is there's some 3D engine that they wrap the games in, the retro engine games in. Yeah, like
yeah.
And again, I have no idea. That's a Sega question.
Yeah, Container 7 said $5 because Coury is checking the gist. Version you already read that. I don't know if this is a reference to Coury's wizardry, but Pover had a 199 saying you guys can reach the other side of the rainbow. And Chris V with $2 super chat. I can't believe it was real. And then Container 7 came back with another $5 saying $5 because Coury did it.
You did it.
And then notification that Ryan Fosslin has been a member for 3 months in a row saying congrats for Coury's vindication.
Vindicated. We were doubting him, but
and then there was a 199 from Madonna Sheehy saying we need a Sandy. We need a Sandy sighting. Sandy, what is that?
Listen. You need a
Sandy. What is going on over here? Look.
You need a Patreon, like a high level tier in your Patreon, which is you get to go and pet Sandy. Like you need a Patreon, like a $300, $400 tier where you just go to get the pet Sandy.
If anybody has a Kickstarter for like a game or something like that, they should have a tier where it's like, we'll put your dog in the game.
Yeah, look at them.
We did that on Indivisible.
Oh, you put you can put somebody's dog in there.
Like we put it like I think somebody wanted, or it might have been Skullgirls, because we had a tier where you get to put your own NPC in.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody put their dog and their cat in there into Indivisible or Skullgirls, I think. Yeah.
Indivisible, man, that is like something that I need to play. Like I think we played it. I played it a little bit on the stream where it was.
I played a little bit.
And it's
on that stream where it was like games we have not booted up yet.
Yeah, and it's just like a really good looking game.
It does look pretty awesome.
That was I was
looking forward to playing that.
Yeah, I was a lead on Indivisible, and yeah, that's unfortunate circumstances, but I'm still pretty proud of that game.
Yeah. I mean, as you should be. I mean, it's like
you've kind of. It seems like you have just kind of had your hands in a lot of things here and there. There's like, oh, you did a little something on that. You did a little something on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you're involved in a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, so my background was sort of like, all right. after high school.
The moment of truth is like, let's see if it's like if it's like actually in here. I'm gonna be real let down. No, it is. It isn't. So it isn't. I thought it was not going to happen. I thought I was going to go through it because you started to go into it.
It did look like you were going to go through.
we got bamboozled. You got a platinum on Indivisible. Oh man, thanks. Congrats. That's a hard thing to do. Since I actually think some of the achievements are bugged in the Steam version. And whoa. I didn't know about this.
What's that star?
Oh, so there's no lives. You get coins. Yeah.
And then you can do things to like you can retry the special stages and stuff.
Yeah. You know what I noticed when you were popping those monitors? Like the icon that pops up over it, like smoothly fades away. Mm-hmm. Which is, not something you would have seen on Genesis.
Let's see if it happens with this one.
Yeah, thanks for playing Indivisible. But yeah, I mean, I'm still proud of that stuff. I mean, my background was like, after high school, I worked at a deli for a while, and then I got a gig working in anime for a company called ADV Films for a while.
Oh
yeah. And then after that dried up, I applied to this magazine called Hardcore Gamer Magazine. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
So Hardcore Gamer Magazine was
Tim Lindquist and my good friend Greg Off. Yeah.
And I'm not sure if we've talked about that, but I feel like Hardcore Gamer Magazine kind of spawned from, as part of like the forums that I was involved in, which is at the nextlevel.com.
Oh, yeah. Next Level. Yeah.
I mean, have I ever talked to you about this? I mean, if you're familiar, I mean, which I feel like you might be. I mean, that's where I did video for the Next Level, like as a website. That was kind of my first like video editing, like actually experience was coming from. Because
I think you mentioned it to me before. I think you showed me like one of the clips, and it was like back in the day of like 120p video or something, right? Like pre-YouTube.
Yeah. You like re-edited like a Resident Evil 3 trailer or something.
But I mean,
cool. You never showed me that.
That was at a time when like video, like game trailers, like online was like not really even a thing. And I was inspired by Kevin DeSelms, who was hi-fi at Game Fan magazine. And he would cut trailers for games because he was a video editor by trade, and he would, like cut trailers, and they were, like montage stuff that you didn't see online, like in, like 1998.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I mean,
like it was just like clips of the game, like
if you were lucky,
like I remember, like you'd go to like IGN.com or whatever, and you'd download like you'd spend like an hour or two downloading like a short video of like Link running around in like the forest temple,
right,
or something, like before from E3, right? And
right,
it wasn't a trailer. It was just like a video clip, which in some ways you could argue is at least nicer than like the like pre-rendered movies that like tell you nothing about a game.
Oh, for sure. But I
although they were such poor quality, they didn't necessarily tell you that much about the game either. But yeah.
Yeah. Like that era. That era. Well, I mean, it's interesting now because people are going back and like finding those old videos and like realizing, oh, this is prototype footage, right? Like that stuff like really fascinates me. And like I applaud like Frank and the History Foundation, because like they're putting out there like all these asset discs that had these this footage or video or whatever on there, and like I know like how hard it is to find stuff, right? Like for a lot of older anime and stuff, like I'm buying like old VHS tapes or laser discs or whatever, and trying to find the best version, or all this really rare like video stuff. Like there's this weird format in Japan called VHD, I think it's called, where they were these like, it was like laserdisc kind of era, and they were these giant like plastic things, and they had movies on there, and there's a video magazine, and we found this whole like press screener kit thing on that video magazine for Project Echo that like nobody's really ever seen. So like
it's crazy. It's just crazy where you find this stuff, I guess.
Well, I mean, like here, like when like working on this stuff, like I ended up buying like every version of like, I have like a literal, like, I don't know why, but I ended up with 3 copies of the PAL version of Project Echo, trying to find like, is the audio on this better? So like, I love that the History Foundation is doing all this stuff, and like as like a preservationist and as a doing restorations and stuff, like it's hard, and I mean, I don't know if a lot of people think it's important, but I think it's an important part of this kind of stuff.
Hang on, y'all keep chatting. I think Sandy needs to go poop. I'll catch up. There's 3 super chats I need to catch up on, but I'll do it when I get back.
Okay.
PC players on Saturn. Oh, my buddy had that card. We would watch. There's this movie called Jet Li movie called The One. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, it's like the alternate dimensions, and he gets more and more powerful when he kills other versions of himself, right?
Yeah, and I remember my friend bought a VCD of it, and it was like a like a Chinese VCD, and it had the most amazing English subtitles. One of the characters' names was Road Decker or something like that. Delroy Lindo's character, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the subtitles changed his name every time. He became Road Blocker, Road Tackler. Like it was, I have it somewhere. It was amazing. Like it has like the most amazing like if you remember those like Revenge of the Sith subtitles it's like that, but like just even funnier in some ways. Like I have that somewhere. But yeah, I remember the Sega CD or sorry, the Saturn like video card was good times. But yeah, what's up?
Oh, going back to like Hardcore Gamer, like what did you just write? You wrote for them?
Okay, so yeah, here's the thing. I worked on websites. I was a website designer, and so I saw that they need on their website they're like we need their website was like open for applications. It's like we absolutely, and I was like, oh, I'll apply and be a writer. I was like, I'm done with this graphic design stuff. I'm just going to be a writer. Like just as like I guess I was like 20, maybe it was like 19 or 20 or something. And their website was like, we absolutely do not need any writers. We need designers. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm applying for design. And so I cold emailed my good pal Tim Lundquist, and he was like, hey, he looked at my portfolio. I had made a portfolio, and he said, hey, do you know InDesign and Illustrator? And like, I downloaded the demos and said yes. I totally lied to him.
I mean, that's what you had to do back at that time, you know. Like, yeah, I mean, like doing video, like, and you just like found like cracked versions of this stuff. I mean, for better or worse. I mean, that's like.
I mean, yeah. If you wanted to learn by yourself, yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, honestly, learn however you can, right? Like at the end of the day, if you're a poor college student or don't have any money or whatever, like I'm not gonna blame anybody for seeking knowledge. Though the good thing about today is like there's so much open source stuff,
right?
That like you can just get it now, which
and
is
just like
cool
demos
too.
Or like like DaVinci Resolve, like you can get like a free version of it that's it doesn't have GPU acceleration, but essentially you have everything else, And there is like a lot of opportunities just to use that stuff. But I mean, back in the day, like you just had to find a pirated version of it to like learn it because
because it was so expensive too. But yeah. But like I downloaded the demo and I was like, well, hopefully I can figure this out in the 30 days. And so he gave me like a couple layouts to do, and I did them, and I didn't screw them up too badly. So he kept giving me layouts to do, and like progressively, I just kept doing more and more layouts until it became essentially my full-time job. And then he made me the production director on the magazine, where I just sort of like directed the layouts and stuff. And like, I mean, it was very old school game fan looking layouts, right? Like that's what he wanted. Like he wanted it to look like that. And like my design sense was not very like matured at that point either. And I think like the last few issues of Hardcore Gamer are probably the ones that look the best, because I started to have more of a sense of it. But like, so I did that for I think a good 4 years, and like because I'd started to do that, he started giving me, because he had he had the magazine, he had a design firm, and I started to do it was Double Jump, so I would lay out strategy guides. So like we did like Disgaea 1, 2, and 3. What was the other one? Persona 3 and 4. We did strategy guides for, and I was sort of like I did the head design on a lot of those,
which was kind of like, was it trying to be like a successor to like the Versus books, because that was all Game Fan
essentially. I mean, the Double Jump books were like hardcore fanatic, like the hardcore fanatic Japanese books almost. Like they had like hundreds of pages of like charts of stats and like all that like ridiculously crazy in-depth strategy. Like the guy who wrote the strategies for Disgaea 2 and 3, I think. I'm trying to remember. He became a brain surgeon. Like he was studying to be a brain surgeon. And I remember there was a point where he was too busy with his studies to write for us anymore, and he came up with like these really crazy like strategies on how to beat the Disgaea levels, because like the Disgaea levels were like each sort of like a puzzle box, right? And the way that Double Jump approached it was like to like, what's the fastest, most like slick, badass way can you beat this level, right? And then we would give like other options as well. And that guy, I'm trying to remember his name, but he was crazy good.
I don't recognize this boss at all. Was it in the original version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not remember that boss.
I don't remember it being so hard. Or intense.
I need to catch up on Super Chats. Although, before I saw that, I saw Mr. Dots saying, "Hey, Try, where'd you buy that shirt?" I think I got it at MagFest years and years ago, but I think I saw it. I think I've seen it at like GameStop too, but it's probably not there anymore because I've had it for a while. Oh, okay, here we go. Two more $1 super chats from Chris Fratz. First one was the filters from Mania were modded back into the PC version of Origins. Wow, that was fast.
Oh, they're gonna mod the crap out of this fact, I'm sure.
Yeah. Also, Hedgehog Engine 2 was first used in Sonic Forces in 2017. Gotcha. I can tell Origins is using HE2 from the file structure of the game on PC.
Oh, neat. Okay.
You know, say what you want
and
about.
Then the other super chat was last super chat. I swear, my stepbrother was given a copy of Indivisible on Switch to give to me by someone who worked on it.
Oh, really?
And the way that came about was that he was there doing HVAC work at the guy's house.
Oh, okay. So, wait. So that was me. Because I have like 30 some copies of it. So like, I got to talking to the HVC guy, and he told me about you, and that I believe you want to work in game design. And he asked me for all this advice. He was a really cool guy. Like he was one of those when you have like somebody come into your house and they want to sell you all that sort of stuff, like, upgrade or whatever. He was very like straight to the point, and honest, and like didn't try to upsell me. He was very cool. And I got to talk to him, and he said his brother was very into who I'm assuming is you, was very into games, and I was like, oh, like he might like this game I worked on. I was like, here, and I gave him a copy of it.
That's awesome.
That's weird. That's like crazy. Yeah. So I guess you're in like Maryland, because I'm in Maryland. Unless there's some other unless some other HVC guy went to some other person who worked on Indivisible.
Well, I mean, you've been hanging out in the community like for a long time. So
your guys' community? Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, and for anyone who's like unclear here, Brady is you might often see the username Ashura.
Yeah.
In the stream chats.
Which is the glitch in Sonic 2 where you turn Sonic 2 green and black.
Oh, is that what that comes from?
That's what that comes from, yeah.
I knew it was coming. I was trying to get out of there.
Which my good friend Charles Mugg is the one who found that glitch in the 90s and found that glitch and named it, essentially.
So what do I name the platform? Like ducking under the platform glitch.
The Carlson crouch.
The Carlson crouch.
Like
So
I know that I'm not the only person ever, but it's like
no, you are. You totally.
I like the.
You totally are, Corey.
If no one in this stream chat has ever seen that before, you're the only person.
As many times as I've played this, I've never seen that in my life. Like I've never seen that. So wait, did the original game, did the water go up and down like that?
I kind of don't think it did.
Okay,
to tell you the truth, I don't remember the water looking green, but
I feel like it was like, but I feel like
the further you've played into this, the more I've realized, the less I remember about this first game.
Did it go? Okay, so Mellow Gaming says yes, it did. But I'm just because I do remember like the parallax in the background or the line scrolling in the background, which is such a huge thing. Like it looked so cool. I remember getting Sonic Jam for Saturn, and it was in there, and it was like, whoa.
You mentioned Sonic Forces earlier, and I know that like a lot of people don't like Sonic Forces.
Oh yeah, did you tell the story on stream?
Well, I think it's interesting because like I didn't think it was that great, but it was. My son said I want to play a 3D Sonic game, and he hadn't really played a 3D Sonic game, and my wife and daughter were like out of town for the weekend. So we played all the way through it, and he like loves it. He like it's the only Sonic game that he like really like is finding himself like enjoying. And so I think it just comes down to like everyone's favorite is going to be their first one. And I think that is it's made me think differently about like
did he really like enjoying making his own like Sonic buddy? Is like was he really into that? Yeah. I mean
and just like and the story too, like he's just like after he was done, he immediately wanted to go out and get like Sonic toys.
Well,
like, can I play a Super Sonic? And
it kind of goes to show you, like, we criticize Sonic for like the quality of Sonic games these days, but it also kind of goes to show like maybe they know what they're doing. Like, like it is amazing to me, as spotty as the quality of Sonic games has been over the years. It's amazing to me that he still seems to have a very strong pull with kids,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a very appealing character. Like he's just like fun and cool. Like I think that's why. And
he has like kind of a positive message to him, I guess too. Like, about like never giving up and all that stuff.
And about friends and I mean I watching the second Sonic movie, like I really loved the fact that like the message of it was like, your family's not blood, and that if you don't have family, you can find friends and find your squad, even if you are not a super popular or super well liked or an outcast, right? Like
right.
I really liked that was the message of that movie. Like it was I don't know. I saw that movie twice, and it was very heartwarming and charming to go see that, and to see like, I like that they made him a kid in that movie too.
Yeah.
Like it makes it so kids can think, oh, I could be Sonic, right? Or I could do something like him, which I think is really such a nice and fun message. I don't know. I've always loved Sonic. Like that's why getting to work on the Sonic CD intro and ending, like getting to do it, was like a dream come true. Like I remember getting the EGM issue that had Sonic CD on it, and like actually I dug it out.
Oh, I actually just got that magazine from the Video Game History Foundation.
Oh, did you?
Subscription. Let me see if I can grab. I think it's on the shelf.
Well, I'm not sure if the one that you got is the one, because the one with Sonic CD is the one. It's like one of the really thick ones.
Yeah, I dug it out. I have it right here. I dug it out because I was looking for it, and I read this so much that the cover, I literally read the cover off of it. Like that's how much I read this. I took this to school. I took all my EGMs to school every day.
Yeah, it's probably not this, because it was it just has the Sega CD.
Yeah,
it's
come on.
So I remember when this first came out, this issue, and hopefully you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
This right here, they had the cutscenes in the margins up here.
Oh yeah,
like they showed them all. And as a kid, I would draw Sonic all the time, and so I would trace those. Little cutscenes, and I remember watching it and looking at it and realizing, oh, they just drew Sonic's hands as circles. And as a kid, I had so much trouble drawing hands. It was like an epiphany went off in my mind. Like, you can just do circles for the hands, and that's all you have to do. And so And so like that unlocked my brain to being able to like draw characters and stuff. It's like, oh, I can just do circles for hands. And
well, I mean, so that's like so cool that like you did that as a kid, and then like look what you got to do.
And then you got to do it. You got to do it in the real game. I mean, that's like I guess like how Night Trap was for me. Like, you know, like getting to have at least a little bit of involvement in that.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, I remember. So, I guess this actually ties back into what I was saying. So, like, I started to do like package design and stuff for Double Jump, who did Hardcore Gamer, and I eventually got to work on Sonic Rivals. Like, I did the manual for Sonic Rivals, and I was like, okay, if this is the only Sonic thing I ever get to work on, this is part of my bucket list, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and eventually, because like Hardcore Gamer was like the tail end of print magazines, so like it like died spectacularly, and like I don't think it's a secret like Tim lost a lot of money on Hardcore Gamer because people weren't buying magazines really,
right?
And it went from being like a yearly thing to like quarterly, and then like around the time like Smash Brothers Ultimate came out, it like that was like the last issue essentially. And so after that, I ended up joining.
That's actually like a lot longer than I expected.
We? Yeah.
Oh,
we.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So not Ultimate, like not the Switch.
I mean Brawl. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Brawl. Like that was like I think the very last issue was like in depth like frame data for Brawl or something like that, or not Brawl.
Or 4 Wii U and 4.
No, what's the one for Wii?
That's
Brawl.
That's
Brawl.
Brawl. Yeah.
Is that Brawl? Okay. Yeah, Brawl. Sorry, I'm not super versed on which Smash Brothers is which at this point.
Yeah, same here.
So we did that, and then I worked for about 10 years for. So Hardcore Gamer was founded by Greg Off and Tim Lindquist, who had originally founded GameFan with Halverson,
mm-hmm.
and I ended up working for Greg Off's company, Offbase. I worked for him for like 10 years, doing like I did. The reason I've done so, like I think have done all these varied things is like when I work for Offbase, like they would be like, we have to figure out how to author a Blu-ray. How do we do that? We don't know. Have Brady figure it out. And so like I would just go and figure out like how to author a Blu-ray or like just all these weird, like, because my main job was like graphic designer, package designer. Like I did like Gran Turismo 5. I designed like all the packaging and all of the pop, which is point of purchase, so all the posters and the all like the advertisements and all that. I designed all that stuff, but then they would have me do all this weird stuff like author a Blu-ray or figure out how to, like, I remember one time I ended up figuring out how to hack a prototype version of Dead Rising 2 so we could have infinite ammo so we could get all these pictures for this like magazine we were making. like just weird stuff like how to rip Wii games so we can do HD screenshots. Mm-hmm. Like crazy stuff like that. Like just weird stuff. And I worked for him for about 10 years doing packaging and all sorts of weird stuff. Like I worked on the UI for a game called Rocksmith. Does anybody remember that?
Oh yeah. I mean that was a big deal. Like that was the music game that teaches you actually how to play guitar.
Yeah. And so we developed all the UI for that. Like a very talented guy named Nolan is the one who took it over the edge. But like I sort of designed the in-game mm-hmm. UI, like, and then he took it and then made it way better than what I did. But the basic design of like the T, like the thing where it was like a line, and then as it got closer to when you had to play the note, it goes to like a T, like, mm-hmm. and so you know when to play the note. Like that was something that I designed, and like the track and all that was sort of like something that we prototyped, and then he did all the hard stuff on that. But like I did a lot of stuff like that for a while, and then Skullgirls came around, and I loved fighting games my whole life, and so a good friend of mine, John Kim, who's an animator, just a very talented artist, was working on it, and I was like, hey, is there anything I can do, like trailers, whatever? Like, cause I have all these skills, can I do it? And he was like, well, we need a UI artist. We don't have one. I was like, okay, well, can you, I convinced him to leak me a screenshot so I could do like a UI demo. And he gave it to me. And then I did some comps for UI, and I submitted them, and they were like, they told John, don't break your NDA again. And then like, we're going to hire him though. And then they hired me. And so I've been working on Skullgirls for like the last 10 years. Like, it's crazy that it's still.
Yeah. And there was a time where they didn't think it was actually gonna, well, everyone would complained about like, oh, why is it so expensive to like add a new character? And like,
oh yeah.
I remember everyone was like freaking out about it. It's like, actually that's like a ton of work. And especially since you have to integrate that character into it.
Oh, it's very, I mean, honestly, our price for a character is very cheap for hand-drawn animation, I feel. But yeah, oh yeah. But so we've continued with Skull, and as I worked on Skullgirls and Indivisible, and Lab Zero went away, so I work for the company that does animation for Skullgirls and All Future Club, and that's my sort of day job. And then like, as that happened, I fell into Discotek, because my skills kind of overlapped with what Discotek needs. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got into that. And so that's a roundabout way that I got into all this stuff. And so I pretty much work on either video games or anime, and it's fun, I like it.
And it's all thanks to you. I mean, that you that I have gotten to have my names and
I mean,
like that was just like, I just provided like captures for you to like sync up to like do timing, like to get the timing right or something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, not just that, but like, I need a reference, and the first thing was like, I knew you could capture what I needed far quicker than me doing it, and at the time, I was working on like 5 different projects, so I knew that like if I didn't get it quickly, I would. Are you screwed? Oh no!
I thought I was, but it came back.
I do not remember these cork blocks. I'm like really realizing there's so much more of this game I thought I remembered that. Apparently.
But no, like I, even though you're like, well, I just captured this thing. Like, you really helped me out, because like I knew that I would be a stopgap on getting some of this done if like I didn't get it captured quickly, and I was trying to figure out how I could do it on like realish hardware, right? Mm-hmm. And because I wanted it to be like right to the actual system and not like emulation or whatever. And like you sort of saved my butt on that. Like, and so like I ended up taking what you gave me and sort of timed things out and figured out how to how everything needed to be edited and stuff. It was honestly super helpful. Like, so don't like count yourself out, and like getting you a credit, like a special thanks, was like the least I could do.
No, it's cool to be able to say, hey, I had my name is in a Sonic game. Like, it's just like, that is like more than like was totally worth it, and also like it was the same thing with Project Echo, like which is like you just like said, hey, look, I got this. We got this print. I mean, what do you think about it? And I was like, it looks amazing.
Like, well, I had showed you like a bunch of stuff when you gave me your opinion, so I was like, I should give him a. I mean, listen, as a person who, for a person who has worked for people who steal credit and don't credit people for things, mm-hmm. it has become sort of, for me personally, I overcredit. Like, I try to give people credit for what they do and help them out, because like I feel like people are, if you give people like the thanks they deserve, they're willing to help you out, far more than somebody who just asks you for for something and then never responds to you ever again, right? Like, wow, you got hosed.
That time I did, yeah.
I need to get back to Super Chats in a second here, but while you're talking about credits, like something I've like always wondered, and like maybe you have some insight into this, like like, whose job is it usually to like keep track of like all the people that need to be at a game's credits? Like it's not like that can't be like a dedicated job, but like at the same time, it's got to be a lot of work. Like, who do you tell, like, oh, hey, like, these are the people that I worked with on my part of the project, and I also want to thank Coury Carlson. Like who's the person that you told that to? Like, I mean, I'm not asking you to name them, but like, what is their role and which company were they with?
Well, so, I mean, it depends, like, right. So when we worked on Skullgirls Indivisible, there was a point in the project where, like, we were far enough along in it that we're like, okay, here's a spreadsheet, like, add all of the credits that you can think of, and then somebody goes through and edits and organizes it.
Yeah.
And then, like, people will go through, like, oh, here's all the contractors, here's all the, the studio, like, studio.
I imagine when you're talking, like, Square Enix or, or Ubisoft or whatever, like, it gets insane, like, the people that you have to keep track of.
Oh, for sure. And I'm sure people get left off, and it's innocent all the time. Like, for sure. I did, like, but, like, I mean, for working on anime and stuff like that, I have the luxury of like, I have to, compile all the Japanese credits and then add like 20 people. So, like, it's not, or 10 people or whatever it is, right? So it's not like that big of a deal. For Sonic, I just said, hey, they were like, what would your budget need to be? And, is there any requests or anything you have? And I just said, well, here's my budget, and I would like to request, would it be possible that the people who work on this get named credit? And they were like, sure. They were just like, sure.
It's like an actual separate page on the credits.
That was cool. I just figured it would be in some scroll or something. Like,
yeah.
But like they just asked me, like, well, who worked on it and what were their roles, and that was it. They keep track of it. Like on Skullgirls, it used to be me who worked on it, but a really talented programmer named Jesse keeps track of it now. Yeah, I mean, it's all that stuff has to be done.
It varies from studio to studio, and like it's probably managed much more complexly with, like, huge projects from massive studios.
Like, I can't imagine, like, keeping track of the credits on, like, a Marvel movie.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah. I mean,
where it's 20 minutes of credits.
It's hard enough remembering everyone that I want to thank at the end of an MLiG episode.
Yeah, exactly.
And I should, like, be keeping better track of that as I go, but it's usually like the last thing I do, I'm like, oh gosh, who helped with this?
Yeah.
I need to get back to Super Chats because it's been 32 minutes since Replicant 813 donated $9.99. Saying, I said I would donate $10 if Coury was right. Sorry, I'll find the money in the couch for that penny. And then EV Chill 2 did come through with $10. Flat $10. Saying, truly horrible at Sonic, but I can't wait to get this. No excuses now. I mean, people have definitely been disappointed that there's, like, no physical copy. And, like, I would, even though I'm not, like, the biggest Sonic fan, I would get a physical copy of this. But maybe it's, like, for the best they didn't launch with one because, like, it sounds like there need to be a few fixes and stuff. So maybe a few options added. So, maybe it's for the best that maybe a physical copy did not launch, and maybe there's the potential it could come later on down the line. That's what I would hope for it.
I mean, that's what they did with Sonic Mania. They didn't have a physical copy.
Yeah, that's true.
For a while.
EV Chills 2 with $5 saying, feeling Coury's facial expressions playing Sonic. Like, I'm one of those players too who, like, steers the controller and is like,
yeah.
It's like, you got to get that extra drift on Sonic's jump, right?
I was telling you guys when we were just chatting before starting the stream, like, I finished my replay of Final Fantasy 13 on Friday, and on, like, the last form of the last boss, you have a time limit, and, like, I thought I was doing pretty okay. Like I wish it was going a little faster, but it was comfortable enough. And then like all of a sudden, like the boss's stagger meter was like almost filled, and then I don't know what happened, maybe using the ability or something, but it was gone. And then like I was just like immediately like off my couch, like with the controller, just like, I mean, basically all I'm doing is mashing the A button and changing the paradigm a few times, but I was just like it was a real like gamer stock photo moment. But anyway, there was also
Jeez, what's my problem?
there was a $16 16 minutes ago. I apologize. Notification from that Scott Snyder has been a member for 23 months in a row, almost 2 years. That's impressive. I have a few Awake Lion HDMI switches daisy chained, and certain systems switch Mister and others don't work. What do you guys use? I need 15 to 20 inputs. So I was looking at that comment earlier, and I was mulling it over. I've got 2 Awake Lion switches, but they're not daisy chained. I have multiple switchers connected to my AV receiver. So that kind of reduces the need for daisy chain switchers. Remember when Audie was on the stream and I was playing Bucky O'Hare, I started off playing it on the EverDrive, which was, of course, going through RetroTink 5X. And that goes through an Awake Lion switcher, and it was working fine. But like, I don't know if it was just like the EverDrive was dirty or something. I don't know. But like I was getting like some speckling and some of the graphics. So I switched to the Mister, which I'm pretty sure I was running HDMI to the Awake Lion switcher. I know I was. And it was fine. So I know that Mister can definitely work. And then the one downstairs, I don't have anything like weird going into it particularly. But what I will say is when you daisy chain switchers, they kind of register on the next switcher as like, oh, this is like a constant input. So like if you have the second switcher going into input 5 on the first switcher, then the first switcher is always going to think like, oh, input 5 is active. And maybe when you turn on something else in input 1, maybe it will switch to it, maybe it won't.
You're so close, Corey. You're so close. You made it.
But I always don't prefer to daisy chain switchers because of that, because of it requiring that manual button push or remote push. Whereas on the AV receiver, like the switcher automatically switches, but then I switch the input to the switcher that I want. And I have like certain themes for each switcher. Like one is just like FPGA stuff. One is just like modded consoles, things like that. So, it's easy for me to remember what is what.
I've not had.
Yeah, I don't know if that's your problem, but I definitely have not had problems with like Mister or RetroTink 5X on the Awake Lions, but I would be wary of daisy chaining them. You might want to just put them into different inputs on the TV, or if you have an AV receiver, put them in different inputs on that. That's kind of how I manage it. I have done daisy chaining in the past, and it's usually worked fine. The other thing to keep in mind too is the more things you have daisy chained, the longer that it usually takes for the TV to like actually latch onto the signal. So especially with things like retro consoles or upscalers or Mister that might be changing signals a lot, that can cause more drops, or there might be more instability perhaps caused by like off-spec stuff, by chaining it through too many things potentially. There was also a $1 super chat from Chris Pratt's again saying, "Okay, last one for real." I doubt it. But Try made my day when I finished watching Analog Frontiers Part 3 and saw my name in the special thanks section. So even then, that stuff feels special to people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, like, and plus it just feels good to have your name in something, right? Like, yeah. That's like, you know, it's always been for me like a very important thing to do for people.
Yeah,
like it's such an easy thing. Like, and so like personally for me, like when somebody helps me, like I try to keep like a spreadsheet. Like, okay, so and so helped me with this. Like,
yeah, I should be much better about doing that.
there was a show I worked on called Ninja Robots. Which I think I've showed Coury like the clips that we have from that show, and it was this dub that they dubbed in Florida that only aired in Australia and like what was it, like Kuwait or something. Like it aired like in English in all these other countries, and it was lost to the first 20 episodes came out in DVD in Australia, and then the rest were never released. And the company that owns it has none of it at all. And so it ended up being like fans who had recorded it on VHS had it.
Oh, wow.
And so I had like a somebody sent me a Afghanistan. It was in Afghanistan. Somebody sent me a tape from Afghanistan of their recording of the final episode of Ninja Robots, and so we found that like there's 20 missing episodes, and we found them all except for like a 3-minute chunk of it, and it's all because fans helped out. There was 2 people in Australia, one person found it, and so like that's like the least I can do is to give them thanks for going out of their way to like mail me these VHS tapes and stuff. That's
incredible,
ridiculous. Yeah, but like, you know, and I don't think you get that kind of help from people if you don't like aren't known for being like giving or helpful or, you know, that kind of thing. So that's why that's important to me personally. I was also going to say, every time I see Scott Snyder's name, one of my best friends is named Scott Snyder. So every time I see that, I think of my buddy Scott.
This makes me feel so bad. There was a $20 super chat from Seabass Knapp saying, "Try, I've spent more money forcing you to go to a Charlotte FC game than I've spent going to my own home matches. Charlotte has a home game Thursday night."
What?
He wants Try to come here to go to a.
Well, no, I think he wants me to go to like one of the games in Charlotte, the football club, das Football Club, football. There was oh yeah, you already read the one from EV Chill too. Feel Coury's facial expressions playing Sonic. I probably had some facial expressions playing Bucky O'Hare, I bet.
That was a fun one to watch, though. That was totally fun. That's a neat franchise that's like totally forgotten.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly, I mean, I did not know about the show as a kid. I didn't know about it at all until I learned about the game, you know, in YouTube years. You know,
well, it's really weird because like that's a cool game, and so that property is based off of it's like a Continuity was the comic company, and it's based off of a comic that was created by Larry Hama, who is essentially the guy,
the G.I. Joe guy,
G.I. Joe, right? Like he's the person who essentially made G.I. Joe as we know it, right? Okay. Like he created all the different like Duke, Flint, you know, all those characters, right? So like, and then they made the comic, and then they made the cartoon, and then like, there's that Konami game, and then there's that arcade game, and like the arcade game is like the finale to the cartoon because they got canceled. The arcade game is like the story of what the finale would be of the cartoon, and they got like the voice actors from the cartoon back for it. It's really, really weird.
There was also I feel like I should know what HRKs are, but I can't recall. 25 HRKs.
Is it Hong Kong?
Maybe? it might be from Zan saying, "Here's funds for Coury's recovery after this nightmare." I assume that was when you were chasing Robotnik up the green water.
Yeah.
that did take some doing. It looked stressful.
Well, no.
Luckily, there's no lives in this.
Yeah. It's nice not having to worry about the bonus stages and finding and getting continues.
I did see someone earlier ask in the chat if we will stream Klonoa Reverie collection. And I would be shocked if at least one of us didn't stream that when we get it.
Oh,
I mean, you know, like if I finish this game, like depending on how much time is left, like around 11, I was thinking I downloaded the PlayStation 5 demo from the Japanese PSN shop, and I could play it for a minute.
Which games can you play on?
You can play a level on each one, in 1 and 2.
So I love Klonoa, and if anybody remembers the Wii version, like one of my early projects was to design that manual for that.
Oh,
that crazy manual, right? So like the story of that is they handed me the project, and back then Nintendo's like printing policy was there was no upcharge for printing manuals in color, so you could do color manuals. And so like I went all out making it like the best, like doing all like the diagrams for like how all the moves work and all that.
Yeah. Doing it just like an old NES manual or whatever.
Like an old like Mario manual. I really, cause we had that luxury then. I was like, I'm just gonna knock this out. Like I'm gonna, cause like personally for me, I really wanted to make a manual like that, right? Where it was like just like that. Cause like sadly, I worked on manuals during like a golden age to where it became like like horrible to work on manuals. So like towards the end, I remember that manuals became 24 pages, but 24 pages with 3 languages.
Oh yeah.
And so you had to fit 24 pages in 3 languages, and then 3 of those pages were always warranty.
Yeah.
So there's a manual I worked on for a game that it supported.
So wait, what was the? I see Coury's getting the stuff out.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There it is. Did you design the coupon for Wahoo's Tacos?
I was gonna say, like, I still got my Wahoo Tacos.
I did.
Coupon.
I did not. However, I yeah, you got the thing still. That's cool. I mean, I don't even have it anymore.
I wish I had I don't have that version of the game either. I
don't have it anymore, unfortunately, because like I think like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe it was like all of my games were stolen. So I've been sort of rebuilding my collection. Yeah, it's a horrible story where my brother and his wife stole all my games and sold them, and I reported it to the police, and they found some of it, but not before the place they sold. Like the place they sold it to, had sold like almost like so much of it that I was unable to get some of it back. I was able to get back like my NES games that my mom bought me when I was little, and some of the things, but like there's so much stuff like I had that, like, you know, that Mega Man 8 press kit that was shaped like a.
With that.
I had that. Oh. My boss gave it to me, and that was like gone. Like everything was like so.
Somebody out there has it now. Like, I mean.
Oh yeah. Well, and it sucks too because like, there's a guy who bought 2 of the games that I had that I know that he bought them, and I found him on Twitter, and I tried to like. I tweeted at him. I said, "Hey, look, I'm 99% sure these 2 games you bought from the store, which were super rare, like it was like Twinkle Star Sprites, Border Down, like and something else for Dreamcast, like really rare." And I was like, "Hey, look, I'm pretty sure you bought these. from the, you said you in your thing you said you bought these from the store. That bought my stuff. I'm pretty sure these are mine. Can I buy them from you for market price plus like 10% or something, right? Like I'll give you more money than what they're worth for them. And he blocked me. Like he literally blocked me. Like he didn't.
He probably thought you were trying to scam him. I mean,
yeah, I guess
I can understand. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I can.
Yeah.
I would definitely be skeptical of that.
Yeah.
I
was like, hey, look, can I buy these for market value plus a little more money? And they just, very, very cool of this. Like the store that bought them, essentially let me go through all the stuff and just take back what I could identify as mine. Like I mean, I'm a person who literally the police, like I lost it had to be I don't know 15,000 things. And
15,000 things, not $15,000. 15,000 things.
Oh no, it was like after the insurance company went over it, it was like $50,000 worth of games. Like it was everything that I collected from when I was a kid. That was gone.
That is very unfortunate.
Yeah. So they said they recovered, I think, 1,000 things, and they said it was the biggest amount of things they've ever recovered from a robbery. Oh. But I mean, I'm a person who has the deputy sat me down and he was like, okay, I need you to identify some of these things. And he reaches into a box, slaps the box down, and he's like, what is this? And I'm like, that's a Hello Kitty Dreamcast. I'm like, sir, that's a Hello Dreamcast. He's like, yes.
Okay. It's like this is definitely yours.
Yes. Well, I mean, some of it was like Transformers toys and just all anything that.
Was he trying to judge if you were trying to get more than you should? If you could clearly identify this is what it is. That was the game.
Well, that or for the Transformers, he was like, okay, so can you describe some of the Transformers that you had? And I was like, well, there's one that's like a tiger and a hawk merged together that turns into a robot. And so he pulls that out of the box. That deputy was no fool. And he found the hilarity in it of trying to identify all this stuff.
He'll never forget it either.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was the biggest haul that I think of, return stuff like you said that he ever got. It was crazy. I mean, it's a fun story, even though now I have to start over my collection.
At least I'm glad you're able to laugh at least a little about it, because what else can you do?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, it's funny because it's obvious that they didn't know what they were doing or what they were selling, because they got only $4,000 for all this stuff. And also they I guess they were they just grabbed shit out of my room, and I found there was a copy, I had a copy of Snatcher, the CD, but they left that, so they just had no idea what they were doing.
That's that's so sad though. That's I can't even imagine.
I mean, honestly, when you talk about you talk a lot, Coury talks a lot about well, this is my childhood copy of that, and I had a lot of stuff like that.
Right, where it can't be replaced. You can't just rebuy it, and it's something else.
Yeah, it's it's stuff my mom's passed away. She passed away 6 or 7 years ago, and my mom was a lot of it was a lot of stuff my mom gave me that I'll never have it again, and somebody's got it. And but it's a copy of Sonic 2, right? So how can you ever identify which copy of Sonic 2 is mine? You know, and I know they're all the same, but it's different than the one that my mom gave me. And I have a lot of affection for stuff like that,
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason I care so much about save files and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the one thing that I had a copy of Sonic 3, and I had maxed out every save file on it and had 99 lives and 99 continues. And that's something that, and it's not because I had all of that, but that's something that I played with one of my best friends as a kid, and we did that one summer, and I had saved that,
Mm-hmm.
And now I've been thinking about doing a stream called just Sonic 3, and then just streaming and doing some charity thing where playing it until I've maxed out all of it again, like to do that again. And I don't know,
make that perfect file.
Yeah, like to do that, and just like, and if anybody like donates anything, just like donate to some charity or something.
Yeah, I have no idea why I don't have some of what. You know, the 0 seems to pop up late. Like the numbers seem to pop up like after you've already got air sometimes. I don't know if that's how it originally was. But like, you know, I Coury is definitely a lot more sentimental about save files than I am. Like when I was young, I did some really stupid stuff where like I had like, you know, perfect saves and like Super Mario Kart and Yoshi's Island, and I was just like really bored, and I was like, man, you know what? Like I should delete my saves
and do it all again.
And then I'll have something to do.
Oh, well, you know,
I was so bored. I was so bored. I was like, ooh, if I just delete my save, I can do this again. And I never did.
I mean, my friend would be like, okay, well, I've done all, you know, both discs of Resident Evil 2. Let's delete the saves and start over again and do it again, but do it better this time.
I mean, I regret deleting those like I did, but
I was that guy who, if I wanted to restart something on PlayStation 1, I was like, okay, I gotta copy all these to PlayStation 2 memory cards and then delete it.
You know, I didn't know until, well, I guess I knew a long time ago.
You could back them up.
But like it blew my mind when I got Suikoden 3 that like, oh, you put the Suikoden 2 save on a PS2 memory card. Like I couldn't figure out why it wasn't loading the data. You like have to copy it to a PS2 memory card. I'm like, what?
Luckily I have all my PS1 memory cards and stuff. So like those like, I guess that hurts less like Final Fantasy 7 because I have that save still.
See, I don't know why. Like I've got like 2 crappy Final Fantasy 7 saves, and I have no idea why that is, because like I made like perfect files with like everyone at level 99 or 100, whatever the max is. I think it's 99. And like I had 3 master materia, 3 master summons, 3 master commands, and whatever other master materias there are. Like I had 1 of each for like everyone in the active party.
Oh wow!
And like I don't know if I did
that much.
I did that twice, and I don't know why I don't have either of those saves. Like my like I don't have like my like completed like Final Fantasy like 5 and 6 on PS1. At least I don't think I do, which is like, man, I don't want to have to complete Final Fantasy 6 on PS1 again, because that's not a good version of the game. But there's like cool stuff you unlock for it. Of course, I could just get a save, but it's still a shame that like I don't know why. Actually, probably what happened. See, this goes to show one of the, you know, the pitfalls of preservation. Probably what happened was I got one of those Dex drive things, right? And
I remember that,
yeah, and you back it up and you think like, oh, it's preserved now, but then like it just sits on this,
right?
It's just a file, and it's like sitting on a hard drive forever, and you like haven't maintained, like, you know, you forget about it, and then when you move on from that computer or whatever, like you didn't think to back it up again. Or like the software for the Dex drive, if I wanted to get to restore those files to a memory card, the software for the Dex drive was on a floppy disk. Like, what if you didn't have a floppy disk anymore to install? Of course, you know, like you could probably find the software online. I don't know if you could have, like the last time I would have thought about, but like, you know, those are some of the challenges of preservation. Is like thinking that you have preserved something and then failing to back it up and re-preserve and stuff like that. Like you kind of almost have to have like a regimen for that kind of stuff to like keep it
How does that keep hitting you?
I don't know.
Preserved.
It doesn't look like you're clipping it.
No. I don't know. Maybe I need to just jump. Like I was seeing if I could just do it without jumping.
I mean, yeah. At this point, try like I drop it on Dropbox, right? Like I put it immediately if I back up immediately on Dropbox, like that it'll be there if I need to grab it.
Coury is like backed up like all of the cartridge game saves that we still have between the two of us. They're on our NAS.
I very luckily have the situation was like I had to flee my house because it was a very dangerous situation I was in, and then they took advantage of me. And I took some things with me, and what I did grab my Chrono Trigger. So I have my childhood save of Chrono Trigger, where I have Marl named after the girl I had a crush on in high school.
Oh man, see that's how I had my my Secret of Mana, but then my battery died on that one. I lost it.
Oh. I remember my buddy bought his copy of Secret of Mana from the rental store, and the girl was named F Me, but like not censored. The girl, that's what the girl's name was, like when he got it. I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some colorful character names on games that I picked up used for sure.
Oh yeah, but like
I've often wondered, like I just dumped, I just got Famicom copies of Final Fantasy 1 and 2 recently. And I was like, like I should dump these saves.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've sometimes wondered, like when I like load up, wow, Robotnik only had one form?
Yep.
Yeah, and this one, yeah.
Wow,
he's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, I watching you play this, I remember so much less of this than I thought. But anyway,
oh, you get the credits. Cool.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the Japanese save files. Like I've often wondered, like what if like there's something a bit off color. And like someone was named in like a Japanese game that I have, and like I've just like recorded like game footage of this like really like nasty something that like I've got like my Final Fantasy party lineup and I could tell that like on the Final Fantasy 2 save, like I could tell that everyone except Furion was like the default names, but it's like
his
name, I don't know.
It's just like it just says Nerf Herder, like something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean the one thing that's great about technology now is like you could just hold your phone up and like translate things, like so like that is like I would just do that. I mean, like, what does this say?
Yeah. Although it's a little harder with like pixel art fonts.
It works. It surprisingly works. I mean, actually,
I've tried it, but like it definitely does work. But it can, sometimes like when I started playing Dragon Quest X, I start off using like, Google Translate on my phone, and like some days it was great and other days it wasn't, and it's like I'm doing it the exact same way. Although if you play the PC version of that now, there's a
translation.
Like people have actually made like a
I didn't get any.
I think a program that like runs over top of the PC version to like translate into English in real time, which is kind of interesting.
There's like a RetroArch thing too that just does that too.
Oh, interesting.
Which is pretty cool. I do love that they added these extra cutscenes that tie the games together. Like I think this is so cool.
Oh,
man, playing through all of this, like
you thought it was
like one game, like would feel like it really drags on.
Yeah, but you can stop and start as you need to. But I mean, because you thought that Sonic 3 and Knuckles was like way too long as it was.
It is way too long.
It's a long game.
Okay, so why? I heard you all talking earlier saying something about Amy and Sonic CD. Is Amy originally from Sonic CD?
Yeah, that was
Amy,
her first appearance.
Yeah,
her intro.
I thought she was from Sonic Adventure originally.
No.
She
Here's what I know about Sonic.
I love that they added this in here. So like the lore for Amy was like she was the master of the dowging tarot cards, and she had a fateful premonition about Little Planet, and so they actually added that to these cutscenes.
So wait, what is Little Planet? Like, it's like hanging over the sky here. That's
Little Planet is a planet that appears like once every so many years, and Eggman chained it to the Earth, or Mobius, or whatever you want to call it. And he's been like he's been like turning it into like his own sort of like Eggman place where he roboticizes people essentially.
There was a $10 super chat 6 minutes ago from Eric Wiener. Thank you. Saying, have you guys given any recent thought to releasing a Blu-ray once Analog Frontiers is finished? Perhaps Brady and the OCD media crew could lend a hand. Yeah, we definitely. We've talked to people about
Brady
ideas for how we
help
could
us with getting like the M2 one package.
Oh, I know.
What's that now?
So the M2 documentary limited run printed like extra, like
300 extra one. We have like 300.
Yeah, they printed 300 extra.
I gotta
just
go to the bathroom and get something to drink. I'll be right back.
Just bare discs. It's just the discs. And we've talked to people before about packaging them up, and it's honestly completely our fault because we were just distracted by the bazillion other things we're doing, right? And we just, those extra copies were just for us to, sell to, our fan base. And we've been promising it ever since the Battle Garaga Collector's Edition came out. And we still haven't gotten around to doing it. We need to design, the cover art and get them packaged and shrink wrapped. And we have been lazy about like pursuing any avenues for doing so, and it's embarrassing how long we've been sitting on it.
I mean, I could definitely help you design the packaging for it. Was it just for Battle Garaga? Was it just like another disc in the like case or something?
It was only included in the collector's edition.
Yeah.
So it actually here. Let me get it.
I think I have it. I just don't have it open, I believe. All right, Coury and Try are gone. Don't misbehave.
So the collector's edition is actually this like really big box.
Like I think I actually have it. I think
yeah.
I think I bought it.
So it comes with one of these Sega CD reproduction cases that
Gotcha. Okay.
has, and it inside it is
just
the
foam,
disc, of course, and a disc. And it's got, My Life in Gaming on it. It says Battle Garaga on it, even though that's not what the documentary is about. It's just, But, and, the discs, the spare discs that we have are the same way. But it's the M2 documentary on Blu-ray. And we've got, like Coury said, I think it's something like 800 extra discs. And we just have not gotten around to actually getting those prepared to sell, which is embarrassing, but yeah, we got to get around to doing that. But I really do want to make Analog Frontiers a high priority for getting that on Blu-ray, because like that's just like a complete thing. It's probably I'm guessing it's going to need to be at least 2 discs to have like the quality that we would want.
How many hours is it total?
I mean, you would know a whole lot more about Blu-ray space and authoring than I do. I hate Coury kind of likes authoring like discs, and I hate it. I hate it.
Well, how many hours is it total, you think?
Let's see. Up to now, it's like I think it's about like 45. Episode 1 is 45-ish. Episode 2 is like 38, 39. Episode 3 is over an hour, but I forget how much. So
So
4 is going to be around the same, and then I don't know how long 3 is going to be, but I'm going to try to make 3 not overly long,
or you mean
not
5?
5 overly long. So in total, I mean, it's probably 4-ish hours.
Mm-hmm. So if you know how to author Blu-ray well, and Justin definitely knows how to do it well, I've seen him pull miracles. You can fit about 6 hours on a BD50.
So it could do.
You could if it's only 4 hours, you could do the whole thing on one disc and then have extras, or like if you want to put like B-roll, the interviews or whatever.
Would there be room for like audio commentary and?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Well, because the cool thing is, you have your main feature and you have it uncompressed, or you have it like, you have it like DTS master audio or whatever you want to do, and then you can just compress your commentary because it's just people talking.
Yeah.
And you can do that as like an AC3 or whatever, right? Or so you can just like, I would not.
There she is.
I would not blink at having a couple commentaries or whatever on.
Yeah.
If you go up to her, she'll like grab you. Yeah.
And we do though want to do like a few special features. Like there's a few like sequences. Like I really want to make like an extended cut of like touring Evan Amos's collection.
Oh yeah, like I mean
stuff like that. So like I don't know, like it might need.
Well, if we did, we could do a second disc of just like all extras.
Or yeah, but like it might make more sense in some ways because like I don't think there's going to be that much extras in the end. Like I mean, not enough to warrant a disc on its own, so it might be more palatable if it's like split between a couple of discs. I don't know.
Well, I will say that if you can fit it on one disc, that's usually better for the consumer. But like I mean, like if you're saying it's 4 hours,
I mean, we'll definitely be looking to you for advice on how to approach that.
Certainly, and I mean, if you want me to
management for that, because maybe we could make it one disc. It would certainly be, I'm sure, cheaper to produce as well, because not only are you making one less disc, but I'm sure like the double disc cases like cost more.
Yeah, well, the actually one of the big problems we've had recently is sourcing cases because of the pandemic. And
really? Okay.
So yeah, like so like he's had to change like the style of the discs and stuff. Mr. Discotek, who runs Discotek, he's had to change certain things because we like there was like a couple of months where like everything was late because they couldn't find cases, and in fact like right now it's almost impossible to find DVD cases for reprintable DVDs, which is crazy because like right now DVDs are still like the highest selling home media, beyond Blu-ray and UHD. So it's been a thing.
It's going to be improved on here. I mean, it wasn't the other version too. I think for 60.
But,
Oh, this? I forgot that this is what Sonic Mania is based on.
But also, I mean, I think it was 60 FPS on the
2011 version.
Yeah, the PS3 version and stuff.
It was like PS3, iOS, it was like everything.
Yeah.
How smooth was it on original hardware?
It was like 20 frames a second, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was impressive for the
time. That sounds impressive, honestly.
It looked really good. It played really good. It was, to me, it was amazing. Like,
I mean, Sonic 2's is kind of awful, I think.
But it looks good. I mean, it
looks cool, but I find it to be the least playable of these mini games.
It's definitely hard.
Yeah.
This is doable. Like I was able to do this on real hardware as a kid. Like I got all of the time stones as a kid. Like, it's funny. I to get a Sega CD, I remember there was a kid in my neighborhood named Angel, and his parents got him a Sega CD, and he thought it was crap after a while. And so I traded him a copy I had saved up my allowance and I bought Ballerina Toshinden for PlayStation. I saved up my allowance and bought a PlayStation. I had bought Ballerina Toshinden for a PlayStation, and I had the Ultimate Doom on PC. And I traded him both of those for his Sega CD and all of his games. And in the end, I feel like I made out. And this was after the Sega CD had just died and everything. And I remember going to Toys R Us, and they didn't have the little lip flap thing anymore. And I asked him, "Hey, do you have a copy of Sonic CD? Back in the back of the whatever the gate thing they had at Toys R Us?" And so he brought me this dusty ass copy of Sonic CD. He had one more or two. They had more, and I remember buying it for $30. So I have cool memories of this game. I wanted this game as a kid so bad. And then I loaned it to my friend, and he was playing it in his car, and he took it out of the CD player and put it up in his visor, and it flew out the window and got ran over by a 16-wheeler or something.
Oh no.
So I remember having to save up my allowance again for weeks and go buy another copy of it, hoping, and he was like, "Look, this is the last one."
Wow. Was this dusty as the first?
Yeah, they were, because I mean, back then they didn't because nowadays, if something doesn't sell really quick, they just send it back quickly. But back then, if you stocked something, you were stuck with it. So they had all of that stuff forever. I remember they don't do it anymore, but they would clearance. I remember seeing 32Xs for $15 a pop. And I think now, man, I wish I would have bought 12 of those.
Yeah, and I
often just dream about what if you could just go to Toys R Us, if you could go back in time, knowing what you know now, and come bring money, good time you could have in Toys R Us, late '90s or something, man.
Well, that's why I love what limited run games are doing with their with their retail store, where they're trying to give you that experience. I love that. I wish I could go there. I wish.
Well, maybe. You never know. Maybe one day.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I would love to do I've never done a too many games or that kind of convention before.
Mm-hmm. That's surprising. So, I'm surprising even with being involved in the industries that you're involved in. It seems like you would have been to at least an anime expo or something.
Oh, I mean, I've done I've done millions of anime conventions for sure. Yeah, I've done anime conventions. I've done E3 2 or 3 times, but I've never done a enthusiast gaming convention.
See, I used to when I was younger, I always fantasized about going to the industry events or whatever. But eventually, I realized I kind of like the fan driven events, because it's a celebration of what we have, right? It's the games that we have and the games that we love. Whereas I
don't get that excited.
The industry events are all about this stuff. You're waiting in line to play these games that you can't even take home with you.
Well, the worst thing about E3, especially towards the end of it, which I don't understand why people really want to E3 again, because you time traveled, hell yeah. So the day at E3 was 10 hours or something, and the lines would be 4 to 5 hours long.
Yeah.
So you would get to play 2 games, that's it, right?
Yeah.
So it was such a waste of time.
Whereas you go to a fan convention, you're like, ooh, Dragon Quest 3, you buy it, and then you can play that all you want for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons. People ask, "Oh, are you ever going to go to PAX or anything like that?" And it's no, I don't really have much of an interest.
If I could go to PAX with zero effort and monetary cost to myself, sure, I that'd be fun. I'd be into it, but I cannot see myself spending the time and money to go to.
Oh, I mean, for me to go to for me to go to Otakon this year in a couple weeks it's over $1,000, and I live near DC. I'm not flying.
$1,000, like.
I mean, the hotels and stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the hotels are crazy expensive. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, and I mean, I can write it off. So, you know, like I go, and because I'm on a panel and I'm presenting, and you know, we're announcing like 30 titles or whatever. So like it's a thing, but like I wouldn't go if I wasn't presenting stuff, you know. I mean, that's all industry contacts and stuff. But yeah, like I would love to go to like a smaller game convention and just chill or whatever, or like a tabletop gaming convention too. Like,
and they have a lot of that kind of stuff at like most of the game, you know, the retro game conventions too.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I mean. Exactly like that. Like that seems like it'd be like way more fun, like a MagFest or whatever, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, MagFest is probably just as expensive as going to go in there.
Yeah, I imagine so.
And it's expensive now. Like we haven't been in a long time. Like don't have a ton of interest in going again. But again, you know, if it was no cost and effort to myself.
But, well, you guys should be guests or something. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, we did like a panel at one point.
We did do a panel one time, or maybe twice.
Yeah.
But we haven't been to MagFest in quite a number of years.
Like what if you went to a convention, like which one would you want to, like, would you actually actively try to go to, or are you just like, no more conventions, no more?
I mean, the one that we've kind of, I guess, enjoyed the most in recent years is Retro World Expo in Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And you know, this year we are not guests, but we're like actually, you know, we're making the effort to go. We like got our own hotel rooms and stuff.
Oh, cool. When is that?
In August.
It's August, I think.
August,
yeah,
August
it's normally like September or October, but it's August for some reason.
But outside of that, you know, like it would be cool to go like to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, like because that's kind of like one of the biggest ones, and it would be really interesting and cool to go to that. But that's like the last like really big one I can think of that I would.
You know, like, I was talking to the guy who does that podcast, the Still Loading podcast, that me and Game Dave and Nadia Oxford were on to do that Final Fantasy draft thing. That was really fun to do. He asked if we were going to Too Many Games, which was this weekend, because he lives in Pennsylvania and was going to Too Many Games. And I said no. I said, I wonder if that Pizzeria Uno is still there.
Oh, jeez.
I love that. And then like the very next day, my phone is like, 5 years ago this week. And it's like here's where you were. Pizzeria Uno in Pennsylvania. And it was also showing like the TGI Fridays we ate at in Dover, Delaware.
Uno's is a chain, right? Like that's the chain around
it. It is, but like they're not as common. I mean, I don't know if they were ever super common, but they're pretty uncommon these days. And like when I was a kid, I lived in Ohio for 3 years, and there was a Pizzeria Uno there, and like, oh my gosh, like it was like immediately like my favorite restaurant, and it's like still my favorite pizza. And, you know, I know Corey being a New Yorker is not even allowed to consider something this deep dish a pizza. But man, I love deep dish pizza. Oh, I love deep dish pizza.
Hey, that feels like trying to explain like what a Wawa is to somebody like who's not from.
I know what a Wawa is. When you know, I remember when me and my parents were, you know, I lived in Delaware for a few years.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm running there.
Or not a few years. Like I lived in Delaware from 5th grade through 12th grade, so so I know what a Wawa is. But yeah, I remember when me and my parents were like, you know, back when I was like 9 years old, and we were house hunting, and my dad's job was in Pennsylvania, so we were looking at houses in Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, and New Jersey because they were all like accessible enough to his work. We ended up going to Delaware, but I remember we were asking the realtor, so what's a Wawa? I'm sure they get that with every, out-of-stater that's moving in the area. What's a Wawa?
A Wawa. They have good sandwiches, man.
Yeah. We've got around here in North Carolina, we've got QT.
QT.
Which stands for Quick Trip.
Oh.
And it's like basically the same thing where they've got like the nicer sandwiches and stuff.
And they give you a QuickTime video file of your visit every time you go.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the sandwich shop RM, which gives you real media videos.
So what is the public reception to the American soundtrack versus the Japanese soundtrack these days? Because I remember at the time, a lot of it was because of game fans saying like, "Oh, the Japanese soundtrack is so much better," and I feel as though maybe people have changed their opinion on it.
So I mean,
super chat here. Let me catch up on that because that is gotten into. There was
to be continued.
Sorry, this was 12 minutes ago. There was a $2 super chat from Dinell Holmes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I mispronounced that. Dinell. I don't know.
Maybe.
Saying Corey waited 3 minutes, but Sonic didn't jump off. This was when you were away and let Sonic just kind of sit. Is he supposed to like time travel or something?
So in Sonic CD, if you let him sit there for 3 minutes or something, he literally says "see ya," and then he jumps off the screen and you die. You lose a life.
Oh, it's instead of 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's if you don't have any inputs for 3 minutes.
Does that not happen in this version?
I'm assuming because he's playing the story mode and there's no.
Oh yeah, they probably cut that out of that.
They cut out of this, but I imagine if you play the retro mode, it's probably in there.
But then there was a $7 super chat from Mega X6. Thank you as always, saying awesome to see Sonic. This collection also has the new OST to listen to, doesn't it? I assume that I don't know if that's a reference to Sonic CD, or I know that like there is actually some new or different stuff for Sonic 3, which is obviously like massively controversial. But
come on,
you can do it. You can do it. So
I don't know that much about what music is offered in this version.
So for Sonic
I'm
CD,
not a
there's
Sonic nerd that would know that much about like the history of like different alternative versions that have been used.
Well, lucky for you, you have a Sonic expert on your stream tonight, and I know I've got the 411 on the Sonic CD soundtracks. So there was two soundtracks, the Japanese / European one and the American one, and you can choose both of them. So it's got both of them on this. And I mean, personally for me, I played both. I like both of them. Like I've played it both ways. The thing that I think the Japanese soundtrack has going for it is that all of the past music is cogent to the it's a very like the way the music was designed in the Japanese version, it was very deliberate that the past music is built off of the Genesis hardware. So it's like, oh, we're in the past, right? So it's chiptunes.
Right. That's cool.
That's actually a really I don't know this soundtrack at all because I've played very little of Sonic CD. So that's actually really awesome. That makes a lot of sense. I didn't know that.
So and then if you listen to the music, the past music and the present music and the future music and the good future and bad future, they add more their motifs they play off of each other, and so they add different, like they take the base of the past music and add different instrumentations to like the present, and then like evolution, like the future has more and it's different, and like but it still has similar motifs to the original, like the past version. Whereas the way that the American version works is all of the past music is exactly the same as the Japanese one, and then the present and future songs are completely different, right? So like they don't have that like thematic through line that the Japanese version does. So it's very deliberate. But that said, I would say that like the American one's still good, and there's a lot of cool like I love Sonic Boom. Like I like Toot Toot Sonic Warrior. You know, like it really depends. Like, do you like the R&B rock, or do you like the New Jack? Because like essentially it's a New Jack Swing, right? It's all New Jack Swing, and it's New Jack Swing with samples and like 90 samples and stuff. Like, so it just depends what you like better. But like I like it both. And the thing is like it's sort of like the sub and dub debate, right? Where like now that you can just pick whatever you want. So there's no like I think that
not that I like follow that kind of stuff, but I bet people still argue deeply about it because you must do what I do.
Yeah.
Or else you're wrong. But yeah, it's like you don't have to worry about it because everyone can be happy now.
See,
PCM, yeah.
There's definitely some pieces of music that I like of the American version. Specifically, the one that's the most memorable to me is Stardust Speedway. Like that's I love the American version of that, and I think it really has like the correct feel for that level, and it's not nearly as good.
The rock, it's like a guitar rock, right?
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
But it has like a really cool like beginning to it. I don't know if I get to it.
I think that there's definitely a tendency oftentimes. I mean, it very much sounds like from your descriptions that the Japanese soundtrack is well deserving of the praise it gets. But I think there are also a lot of situations where like people just like lust after these things that like Japan got and we didn't, and like it's like built up to be so much better in their head than it actually is. Like the example I always think of is Final Fantasy Type 0. Like everyone wanted it so bad because it came out on PSP in Japan and it didn't come out here. It's this cool, mature Final Fantasy where there's a bleeding chocobo in the opening FMV. We didn't get any game with a bleeding chocobo over here.
It's just funny, like that's the thing that like people like like they were thinking
so
about.
Dark.
This is dark, mature Final Fantasy. It's so cool. And then like it actually comes out here on like PS4 and then
nobody buys it.
People are like, it's like not even that great.
Yeah.
Well, I think about Resident Evil 1.5 and like everybody's like, oh, I want to play, like, and I'm
There's
like,
a reason that it was rebooted.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it's a very interesting piece of history, but it's not going to be a better game, right?
No.
I compared it to something that I can't say on the stream at some point, but like it's interesting history, but like I mean once the build of that came out, it's obviously an unfinished game with interesting ideas that were sort of rebooted.
I asked Gannon asking what's wrong with Type 0. Honestly, I mean I don't really know. It's just that like after it came out, people just stopped talking. The main thing is I think it's got like extreme camera motion blur.
Yeah.
I want to say they might have toned it down in a patch, but I can't remember for sure. I actually booted that up on my games we've never booted up stream. Because I got that forever ago and like for whatever reason have not gotten around to properly playing through it. Like I absolutely intend to play it someday, but like I don't know if there's anything wrong with it. It's just that like when it came out, like once we had it, like no one talked about it. Other than like, oh, it has too much motion blur. I hate the motion blur. Like that was literally the only thing I ever heard anyone say about the game once it actually came out here. Like no one talked about like the game itself. Like was it Was it worth getting your dark, mature, dying chocobo game?
Bleeding chocobo.
I hope I'm remembering right on that. I remember like seeing like the opening FMV of it like on YouTube years ago, and there's this like dying chocobo on a battlefield.
This level,
I hope my memory on that is not wrong, but like people like definitely like were really into wanting this game, and then like once it comes out, like I never heard any opinion about it other than, oh, the motion blur is like way too much.
I mean, it's a lot of times it's like, oh, I finally have that thing I wanted. Well, I'm not gonna give any feedback on it. I'm gonna go to the next thing. I'm gonna demand people to do, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like
it's like, you know, I think another example is, you know, this is a game that I think is very much worthy of praise, but was perhaps maybe oversold a bit. Was like, you know, what we used to call, you know, Secret of Mana 2 or Seiken Densetsu 3 that we now call Trials of Mana. Like that was one of the first really big fan translation projects.
Oh yeah.
And you know, and people were like, oh, this is like the best Super Nintendo game, and we didn't get it. It's the best Super Nintendo. It is good. Quite good, but it's not the best Super Nintendo game. But it's like, it's this because we didn't get it, you know. You have to jump through all these hoops to actually play it. It's like elevated in your head as being this like thing that you have been deprived of, this amazing thing.
I will say Wacky Workbench has one of the coolest games.
Yes. I totally agree. And it has a really good build up to it too.
Yeah.
You know, you think it just might just repeat the same thing over and over again, but then it has kind of a cool breakdown after a little while.
I saw someone else say something about this earlier in the stream. Robert Lawrence here is saying Final Fantasy 16 will probably have a ton of bleeding chocobos since it's going to be rated M. I don't know if that's true. Like, is that actually like said on like someone said it's like rating pending on the trailer, but probably going to be M. Does it actually say on the trailer like likely M rating?
I can't imagine that they would.
I have a hard time imagining them going for an M rating on Final Fantasy.
Well, not just from a standpoint of like wanting to do that content, but like it's so much easier to sell teen games than M games. Like,
right.
Like,
I mean,
you know.
I mean, is it? Because like, I mean, you would think it would be, but like, most of AAA is like M games.
But it's definitely easier to sell to teenagers who can buy them.
Yeah. I mean, I have a hard time imagining them going for M on Final Fantasy. I mean, if they do, you know, I'm along for the ride here. But that would definitely surprise me to hear them go for an M rating. But I don't think it would like be super detrimental to like sales or anything. But it would surprise me.
I mean, I can't imagine they'll do M, but like, who knows? Like,
oh really? Apparently, Yoshi P said they're going for an M rating. And
oh wow! I mean, well, if anybody's going to do crazy things with Final Fantasy, it's Yoshi P. So
yeah.
I trust him.
I completely trust him too. I mean, I'm quite excited about 16. But I wonder, like, I bet it's going to be a lower rating. Like, I don't know what all the Sero ratings are. Like, are they like is there like a 15? Like, I feel like there might be
Z.
Z is like 18 plus, right?
Well, Z is like you can't put it in any actual stores in Japan. Like,
really?
Well, it's like it's like Sero Z is like the death knell for your game. Like
there are Z games though, yeah.
Well, oh yeah, like No More Heroes was in Japan.
Really?
The first, because it has all that like cutting off heads and blood and everything. It's like in Japan, it's like decapitation.
Decapitation is bad, I think.
Japan,
right?
Yeah, you can't decapitate. Yeah, like which is why like
there's like all those other cuts of like
Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4, yeah, that's exactly
like Resident Evil 4. instead of chopping your head off, the chainsaw man chops you in half, which I feel is worse.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for whatever reason, decapitation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big thing in Japan. I mean, I guess from suicides and stuff. I guess I don't know. But yeah, like Z is like the death knell in Sarah, like for in Japan, because like
I guess it's D like the normal, like 17 or 18 plus.
I think so.
Yeah.
I just remember, well, because like in Japan, No More Heroes, there's two versions. There's the PS3 version and the well, I mean, there's also the Switch, the Wii version as well. But the Wii version and the PS3 version don't have all the blood in it, so it's got the D rating. And then the Xbox 360 version is Z.
And like, so if you can't sell it in stores, like, do you just have to buy it online or something?
Well, you could sell it in like mom and pop stores, but like,
okay,
but like in like a
Boshi camera,
right, like not like in like the Japanese Walmart or whatever, like the big like, I mean, it's the same thing with AO. Like Walmart won't stock AO, so that's why there's no AO games.
I mean, AO almost never happens, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, I think there's more Z games, but it's similar, right? Like Z is similar to AO, so
yeah.
They like in terms of how they avoid trying to get that, and they'll censor things until they can get their D or whatever they need to get.
Yeah.
I've mentioned it a lot, and I'm constantly amazed like how many like anime porn games there are on the eShop. Like I mean, like I don't know if they're like straight up porn games, but they're like whatever, like what is it? The something succubus. Like they came out with like 6 of them in a year.
You mean like tittillating games essentially?
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe how many there are.
Well, like I know, isn't it now like reverse? Like Nintendo's restrictions are like a lot less.
Yeah, they just like don't care at all.
Yeah, I think Nintendo is like less restrictive than Sony right now. I want to say Sony introduced some restrictions a couple of years ago. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how so, but
well, I do remember that when they ported the DOA Extreme to Switch, and then they were doing the new PlayStation 4 version of it.
Oh right,
like,
yeah. It was
the Switch version has all the touchy-feely, creepy stuff in it. Still, the molestation mode essentially. Whereas the PlayStation one, they were just like, nope. They're like, not this.
You know, the bosses in this game are really interesting because it just seems like there's more to them. You know, like
they're very different. Yeah, like I mean, you know, Sonic 1 was
getting the bosses really quickly, one after another.
I'm just like blasting through it. Like,
well, I mean, Corey's blasting through it, but the real way you're supposed to play this game is not the real way, but the way you're supposed to play it if you're trying to play it and complete it, like 100% it, is you're supposed to travel back in time and you're supposed to find that the electric cheeseburger is what I called it. It's like a like a big metal thing. You travel back in time and you destroy that, and you're supposed to go. Then you're supposed to that way it will restore the good future.
Yeah, I mean,
so you're supposed to do that in every stage, essentially. Yeah. So like when you play it like that, it takes a lot longer to get through it because you're exploring and you're trying to find the not your life ring. Good. Phew.
I lost it now.
Oh yeah, you're in the future. I forgot. But you're supposed to travel back in time and do that and explore. And like this game's a very exploratory game. And if you're playing it,
which has always made me interested in it, like over like so much the speed based. Sonic.
Well, that's the big difference. It's like starting with Sonic 2, it just becomes like, you know, the levels are so big and you're supposed to like find like the fastest route through a level. Like I feel like like the first Sonic and this one, it's not about like going fast. It's like that's something you can do.
Yeah.
Like that's why I feel like Sonic CD is like the Sonic 2 of another dimension, right? Like
right.
Like the somebody went left and somebody went right. So like cuz you have like there's 3 main designers on Sonic 1. It was Naoto Oshima who directed this game, Yuji Naka who directed Sonic 2, and then I can't remember the third guy. He was like the I'm trying to remember what his name is. I'm sure the chat is like yelling it.
So, by the way, like I like this music, but I really like the future music for this level.
In the Japanese or English?
In English.
English. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I agree. Like, I think it's got like, good tracks. Like, I like both of them because, like, I mean, I obviously grew up on the American one because that's what I bought as a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Twice.
Like twice. Yes, twice. Well, I think it's more like at this point, like, 4 times. Like, well, I rebought it, but so after I bought it a second time, I was dumb enough to lend it to my friend again, and he lost it again. And I was like, well, I can't get it anymore because it's not in stock at Toys R Us. And I was talking to a friend in Brazil, and this was like on like IRC or something, if people remember IRC. And he was like, oh, I'm trying to get rid of all this stuff, and I have these Sega CD games. Do you want them? And he's like, I've got Sonic CD, I've got Vey and Lunar. And I was like, oh wow, cool. And so I was like, well, I didn't want to be greedy. I was like, well, I'll just take Sonic CD. I don't really need the other ones. And I'm thinking like now, like, man, I would have like loved to. Yeah. I should have taken him up on it. But like, so from this guy I knew in Brazil sent me his copy of Sonic CD, and that's the one I had forever. Was that one? And it was funny because he was like, well, I'm missing the manual. Do you mind? I was like, well, you're giving it to me for free. No. And like, I have 2 cases for it already. so like for the longest time, I had like 3 Sonic CD cases for no reason.
In one game.
In one game. Yes. But yeah, like so like, I love both the soundtracks, and I think that's why I like the collections and stuff like this. So you can play it any way you want to. And that's the thing. Yeah. You have choice, right? And I think that's why people have grown more accepting of different soundtracks and stuff. Because, like, if you think about it, it's essentially just like an arranged soundtrack, right? Which is not an abnormal thing for video games now. So if you have both, pick what you like.
The only thing that I wish they would do is allow you to pick it on a per level basis.
That would be cool. Like I remember,
like make your own mixtape before you start the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh exactly. Oh yeah. That would be awesome. Like I remember when they put out what was it? Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and you could pick per character if they used Japanese or English voices.
Yep.
Which is really cool. Like I wish more games did that. I'm sure it's like a pain to implement it, but yeah. Like Skullgirls, I think we did that. Like you can change voices per character.
That's a great idea. I mean, it doesn't take up any extra space, I'm sure, to do that.
No, I mean, so if you have it on there, yeah, for sure. But I remember, like, I thought that was the coolest thing for Marvel vs. Capcom. Like, you could pick what like voice you wanted.
Good game. A lot of people are really sad that that the one after that, the Infinite, was not nearly as good.
Oh yeah, I was bummed about that too. Like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was one of the last things that I worked on before I left off base, and I like that. There was an era of Capcom, and I feel very lucky that I got to like. I mean, I didn't work directly on the games, but I worked on all the promotion and packaging and all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And there was like an awesome era like around Street Fighter 4 where they were doing like Street Fighter 4, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, Marvel 3, like all these really cool, interesting games, like or Bionic Commando.
And that's like trying to
even Dark Void.
What's that? Oh yeah, Dark
Void. Dark Void. I worked on that.
That's when they were saying like, oh, we really need to appeal to Western gamers, right?
Well, I mean, it was a Western developed game.
Right, but I mean, just like Capcom in general was saying.
Yeah. That. Well, speaking of like, attempting to appeal to Western tastes, you know what I started after finishing my replay of Final Fantasy 13.
What?
I've been playing the PS4 version of Dragon's Dogma.
Oh wow, okay.
It's I mean, people who love that game love that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for a lot of people, it's just the gameplay. They love the gameplay of it.
They really like there's a lot going on, like in terms, I definitely get the impression that like I'm still kind of, I've been playing a bit of it, but I'm still undecided how I feel about it. It definitely feels like something that probably gets better the more you play it.
Like for me, like I maybe call me vain or like like the aesthetic of it isn't my jam, right? So like
it's simultaneously like the most generic thing ever, and like also kind of weird. It's ugly. It's an ugly game. Like
it's like it's not like Skyrim ugly, but it's like in that like so generic like.
I think it's uglier than Skyrim definitely has some uglies, but like it's uglier than Skyrim, I think. What it feels like on PS4, it feels like I'm playing a
PS3
it feels like I'm playing a PS4 port of a PC version of a game that came out on original Xbox. Like,
oh wow,
like I don't know, like it feels of a earlier era than it actually is in terms of its aesthetic. It's just like so generic and ugly. But like, the combat and game concepts, I think, are what people really like about it. And I haven't played quite enough to like really get the sense for why it's so amazing. It's definitely got some jank. It's got some jank for sure. I think something a lot of people like is that you can like actually like climb up on the enemies, like the larger enemies, like you can kind of climb on them like Shadow of the Colossus style.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's like it's real janky looking, and I don't quite have a handle on it yet.
Before Coury beats this, I want to point out like this level I think shows the sort of like music progression more than the others, in that like the past music is like a 60s jazz music, right. And then when you go to the present, it's more like modern music, but the same like beat to it. And then the future has like more synths and stuff to it.
Right.
Like I think this one shows that. Yeah.
I should catch up on a super chat from 27 minutes ago. I'm so sorry from Wad Tomatoton? I don't know. Saying, haven't caught one of these live in a while, but wanted to say it was awesome seeing you guys show up on Arcade Pit on Giant Bomb. That was a fun thing. We'd totally like to do that again.
We did pretty good.
We did do pretty solid. I even of all people think I won the I think it was Marble Zone in Sonic 1. Like I think I actually won that competition. I would not expect to come out first on Racing to a Sonic level. There was also just now $2 super chat from Shadow Mask. Thank you. Saying congrats to the Colorado Avalanche Cup champs. Is that Das Football?
No.
Das Football Club?
That's hockey. They must have won the Stanley Cup.
Oh, that's cool. You can do it. You can do it, Coury.
I'm not gonna.
Is this the end of the game?
This is the next to last level.
Wow, I can't believe how fast you've gone. Like, you're making me much less nervous to play this because, like, Sonic CD has always interested me in comparison to a lot of other Sonic games, but it also sounds really complicated.
Well, it's not. I mean, here's the thing: you can 100% it two ways. You can go back in time and you can take out the cheeseburgers, or you can go to the bonus stages and get the time sins. Either one.
Doing neither.
Yeah, Tori's not doing either.
Which is fine. I've never gotten all of the emeralds in any Sonic game, and I really don't have any desire to.
Well, I mean, in this one, it's important so you can get the good ending, right? Like, I mean, I think this one's smart that it sort of ties in getting the emeralds in with the story, right? It's to get the good ending, right? Whereas the other ones are like, oh, you get supersonic, and it changes a little bit of stuff, but not really. This one, there's bespoke animation you get if you do the good ending, right? Like it changes it because like if you don't get the cheeseburgers, so when you start this, Coury, go all the way to the right and then like wait at the right by Metal Sonic and then hold up an A to do like the peel out. Because you haven't done the peel out.
Oh.
And then, so like stay there and then press hold. Yeah, and then once it opens, go.
Okay. Then what happens then? Is it just?
Oh, it's just a cool way to start the race.
Oh.
And then you go fast. That way, because it puts you at max speed, right? And so then you can start jumping and dodging stuff. But it's a better way to start the race because like you get a head start.
I see. I forgot about the peel out.
Yeah, I mean, when you have the spin dash, and the thing is like when you have the spin dash, you forget about it. And the spin dash they put in this version is better than the one in the Sega CD game. Right.
Because the run in the Sega CD version is just him like jump or spinning like normal. He doesn't have the.
You can't rev it up, yeah. Which I believe in the Sega CD version, it's better to do the peel out because it's faster to get the Mach speed.
Is the peel out the one where he has that like new like animation? Where he's like going forward, like
he just runs in place.
Figure eight.
Yeah. Is that from the original version? Or
yeah, that's from the original.
Yeah. It is a really cool animation.
Yeah, that was one of the additions to it. I mean, that's also one of the cool things about Sonic C as well is like you get two different iterations of the spin dash, right? Like this was their idea of the spin dash, and then Sonic 2 was Naka's idea of the spin dash, right?
Because they probably put the spin dash aspect in there like afterwards. It was probably like the down and jump version, like after.
Like they improved. Yeah, I mean, the thing is
like after since Sonic 2 was already out at that point, they probably
put
like a version of that in there.
Even though this came out after Sonic 2, it was in development at the exact same time. So, like, and this was developed in Japan.
Before Sonic. I thought it came out before Sonic 2, did it not?
No, 2 came out first. This was...
They were thinking it was not going to, but...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
it wasn't intended to, I guess.
Yeah, that race looked like really demanding on not having a lot of room for error.
They want you to... Well, I mean, that's why they have a time attack, too. They want you to play it and get really good at it. But yeah, so this was Naoto Oshima directing this, and then Yuji Naka, I guess he had some sort of thing with Sega Japan, so he went to Sega of America, and Sonic 2 was developed by, Sega Technical Institute?
Yeah.
But it had a lot of the Japanese core people from Sonic 1, because like the conditions working there were better, right? So like, I guess it was more favorable to, I don't know if it was actually, but it was more favorable to Yuji Naka at the time. So, and then I guess that Naoto Oshima worked on Sonic 2 as well, but he directed this game, whereas Naka did too, and at the same exact time.
That's crazy. I mean, like, you know, at the time when they were coming out, like, I didn't realize that. And
no, I mean, you just assume it's a sequel to Sonic 2, right? So it should be the same or better, right? Like in your mind.
But this has like the Sonic 1 sprite as the basis, right?
Yeah, he's much more.
Sprite's a little different, yeah.
Oh, it's a completely different sprite. Yeah. Oh, it's completely reanimated. He's much more like cel shaded. In this one, he's got like a gradation.
Gradient, yeah.
And his blue in this is
almost
more,
like the Sonic 3 title screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His blue in this is also more pastel, I would say.
Yeah. I don't know. I like it better.
I like the classic. I mean, this is very anime to me. Like I mean, I love them all, but this game is just, there's something just weird and different about it, because like it sort of pays off. Like it can be a faster game, unlike Sonic 1, but it also still has that exploration aspect if you want that.
Right.
So that's why, like, it has like it appeases both people, whereas like Sonic 1's more puzzle, Sonic 2 is more speed, and they don't you don't do either one of them, right? Like you can't change how you play it. Where this one, you can play it how you want to. Ooh,
I see that General Osimo in the chat was kind of talking and asking about if fake scan lines look better on OLEDs or other TVs. I think, to me, the big thing that makes sort of fake scan lines or CRT effects sort of work a lot better on a display is black frame insertion, I think. Which I only have experience with that on OLED, but I'm pretty sure it's available on other TV technologies too. I don't know though. I really only know about LG's implementation of it on their OLEDs, but I always feel like when you've got a game in motion with a scanline effect, that the effect, even it doesn't really make sense, because like the scan lines themselves don't move, right? But like I always feel like there is this perception that they are kind of become blurry when the screen moves. So black frame insertion, I feel, is the main thing that helps sell that effect. Of course, you've darkened the screen with the.
You got to go back and do that thing, Corey.
You've darkened the screen further with black frame insertion, so it can be a bit of a tougher sell. But I do think that it makes using them a lot more appealing to me. I like how the RetroTink 5X has like I forget exactly what they call it in the menu, in the post-processing menu. I think they just call it like saturation or something. Like you can.
No.
It has some really nice settings. Oh, you're one up Sonic.
Yeah.
Look how cute he is. Look how cute he is.
I love it. I totally forgotten about this.
I love it. I wish there was like a mode where you can play the whole game like this.
Yeah. Why isn't there?
That reminds me of how a friend of mine always played as.
He still has the same jump height too, so he jumps really high.
Is there a disadvantage?
I mean, it's.
Is he slower or something?
Not really. No, it feels like he's a little harder. I don't know if he's really harder to control, like because he has the same jump height. I don't know. I wonder if his physics change at all.
But a friend of mine always used to. I think you press like A and Y simultaneously. I forget what it is. And when you're selecting your character in Super Mario Kart, it makes your character small. If they've been hit by a lightning bolt. But you can like always play with him that way. And
he can get run over, right?
He was like, yeah, but he was like so good at the game that he would like he like played that way while me and my other friends were playing like regular characters, and he would still win.
oh yeah, so he was handicapping himself, right? Like,
yeah, basically.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
They
never let you do that after the first game.
I mean, I miss like secret codes and weird developer crap. I miss that stuff. It's like nowadays either that's all monetized as DLC or they can't really do it because of achievements, right? So like like that when
achievements have, I think, overall been a bad thing for game design, because they were and preservation, because I think they require too many fail safes against cheating.
Oh yeah,
and server checks and stuff like that. Like, so they've kind of locked everything down too much. I mean, like cheating. You don't want to cheat in a game where that I absolutely understand that. We don't want cheating in. But it basically makes a game that is otherwise not a competitive game functionally a competitive game that needs to be fair. And that's, ultimately, I think, been a bad thing. Achievements can be fun, like on a game-by-game basis, but I don't care about the, like, overarching, like...
What am I missing
system.
here?
Like I don't like care about how many PS3 trophies I have or what my gamer score on Xbox is, but like, so if I was like, oh, I want to get, the platinum trophy in Final Fantasy 13, I want to get the platinum trophy in Resident Evil 5, I want to get the platinum trophy in Uncharted 1 too. I mean, I did all those things because I wanted to.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't care like how many more trophies I had to my overall thing. I mean, there can definitely be a fun aspect to them, but the fail safes that they have to be fair and anti-cheating and stuff does, I think, do more harm than good in terms of preservation and just future accessibility of the games and things like that.
Oh, I agree. I mean, like, I don't know. I've never been a achievement hunter personally, unless I really got into a game. Like I did a lot of the stuff in Batman Arkham Asylum because it was fun to do it.
Oh, great game.
That's like,
I don't think I got the platinum in that.
Like I did a lot.
Like a game I would have liked to have.
Yeah, I mean, I did like all the Riddler things, and like, I was really into that game because it was such a atmosphere to that game. But like,
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's one of the best like 3D Metroidvanias.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
And it also does have sequence breaks and stuff too, like Metroid games as well, which is pretty cool.
I mean, we talk about that. I think Trav and I have talked about it quite a bit, where we really liked Asylum way more than City because
same.
Because it's more concise level design, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very laser
like
focused.
The unified environment.
Yeah.
It's just not trying to be open world, right? Like,
right.
It feels big and it feels like there's a lot of places to go, but it's not trying to feel like open world Batman, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think a lot of games are like afraid to have too much of like sort of take place in like sort of a small location like that. Like, and I've always like, I've always appreciated like the singular location in games like Resident Evil or Metal Gear Solid. Those always took place in like these like small areas, and I feel like they gave the games their own distinctive flavor. Whereas by the time you get to like Metal Gear Solid 4, it becomes this globe-trotting thing.
Oh yeah.
And I think I prefer more like consistent thematic design with like where a game takes place rather than to have so much globe-trotting or open worldness and stuff like that.
Ooh, you do that by the skin of your teeth.
I don't remember what to do here at all.
So
I could just go through.
You gotta go to the front, I think.
Right.
Yeah. And then you can go through. Oh, these guys are a pain.
Like even Resident Evil 2, like
was very small location. Like you're
mostly in the police station, but even that though, I thought was starting to stray a little too much from what I really liked about the like basically just the mansion and some of the surrounding grounds in Resident Evil 1. But Resident Evil 2 does do a very good job of still mostly having like a pretty unified sort of design. I mean, I think Resident Evil 2 Remake is like possibly the best game of the last generation.
Well, it's one of those things where like when you have a smaller location, you can make the location seem lived in, right?
Yes.
Whereas like the bigger you expound, you make it, the less detail that can be put into like the world, right? So like, you end up with copy and paste like areas and just like stuff that doesn't really matter. Whereas like you have a small, like when you go like through Shadow Moses and Metal Gear Solid, it feels like people lived there and had jobs and like abandoned their jobs, and like there, like there's a sense of like this place was abandoned in the middle of something happening, and then like there, it feels like, and because then there's things to support that, like the codec calls or things you find, or Resident Evil, like finding like
the documents,
and everything. Yeah. I mean
something that I feel like I don't know. Like me and Corey like seem to be in a minority on Metroid Dread, where it's like we didn't dislike it, but we just like it was not like the amazing moment that we like had hoped it would be. And something that like I feel a lot of games that like attempt to be Metroidvanias sometimes don't have anymore.
Oh, we get to see that. I was not expecting that.
So this is the ending. We restored this as well. And this was a lot harder to restore this because every version of it had frame blending, so it was deinterlaced improperly. And there was no way to get a copy of this that was we asked and we couldn't get it. So we collected every official version of this that we could find, and we picked the frames of we went through it frame by frame, and we picked out all of the frames of Sonic where he wasn't blurred, and then photoshopped it all together so that he wasn't blurred anymore. And then when we couldn't locate a frame that wasn't blurred, we ended up redrawing it. Just straight redrawing it. And the cool thing is that because of the AI upscaling, since we had trained it on the style, it's gonna target a specific style. So because like, the original footage had like dot crawl and all that stuff in it, and it was already cleaning that up, we didn't have to be super perfect about redrawing everything because like it was already working on a source that was suboptimal. So like it hid a lot of the mistakes and stuff. But like in this sequence, there are a bunch of times where my friend Elaine just redrew Sonic, because that sequence where he's racing Metal Sonic was the most blurred one. And if you do go through the video, you'll see that like there are times where the background is still blurred because we just didn't have time to redraw all of that.
Yeah.
But we found that so long as Sonic or the characters weren't blurry, that you could like you wouldn't notice the backgrounds were blurry. So like when it like zooms into him and zooms out and stuff like that, that stuff was that stuff like still might have some blurring to it. But otherwise, like we literally redrew a bunch of the frames and to make it look as good as it does. And that is by far one of the hardest things. Like and everybody who worked on it, like Christian and Austin, like had a pass on like fixing the frames and like photoshopping the frames together and stuff like that. That was a crazy, like when I took this project, I knew I could do the intro because I knew the condition of it was pretty good. But the ending, I was like, we're gonna see how good we can make it look, and then go from there. And I think it came out good. Like I think it looks.
Oh, you're talking about this right here, right?
Well,
yeah, the whole thing. Okay.
All of the ending, yeah.
I mean, it's someone who has not seen this before. Like, the speed looked fine to me.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that they bridge the gaps between the games a little bit like this.
Oh, it's super cool to me. Like, I love it.
Do you think it's like wrecking the fan chronologies that they'd come up with and learn that like everything is happening back to back now?
Well, no. Like even Sonic 3 happened back to back to Sonic 2. Like the end of Sonic 2.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if like people would imagine like 1 to CD to 2 to be continuous.
Well, I mean, as a little kid, I did. Like, I invented my own, like, because like I think like as a little kid, this had like show not like essentially show not tell storytelling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like when I saw Sonic 2 and I knew that Sonic 2 ended with you falling off the you fall off the death egg and Tails catches you with the plane, right? And then Sonic 3 starts with you on the plane and you have all the Chaos Emeralds that you collected in 2, and then Knuckles steals them from you. That told me like, oh, there's a connected story to this, right?
Yeah.
So like I like had all my like fan theories and stuff like of, so this is how it connects together.
That's what me and our friend Drumble call a phantasm.
A phantasm?
Have you ever seen the Phantasm movie series?
Oh, with the tall man, right? Like
the tall man, yeah.
Yeah.
Angus Scrimm.
Angus Scrimm, yes.
Yeah, every single movie in that series, like the second movie takes place several years later, but like the last scene of the first movie is where it like picks up,
yeah.
And then like there's a time skip, but then like the beginning of 3 is that does look really good.
Look how cool that looks.
The beginning of 3 like starts right at the end of 2, and then the beginning of 4 starts right at the end of 3. And so like whenever we watch a movie that like and like it turns out or play a game where it like picks up immediately after the last one, we're like, oh, it's a phantasm. We love it when we get a phantasm.
Well, that's what Final Fantasy 13-2 does.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm suddenly reminded of, obviously you guys know what, for you remember the sitcom Friends, like everybody knows that sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
There's a season where the character of Chandler, he proposes to Monica at the very end of the season. And in the next season, they pick up exactly, because he proposes, then you like, what's the cliffhanger? And then he proposes. But between the seasons, like, in the prior season, he was like 200 pounds or something, and then in the next season, he like had lost all this weight, and he was like in better shape, and so like he's wearing the same clothes as he was wearing, but he's like way more fit in the next season.
Do they say anything about it? They never address it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you watched it as then like you were waiting 6 months, right? So you remembered, oh well, he proposed. But it wasn't like now where you can just like Netflix and go through everything.
Right. And
so like
it's the same thing with isn't it the same thing with Back to the Future 2? Like when they recreate the ending.
Oh yeah.
But they can't like since
there are shots from the original movie, but they did recreate lots of parts of it, and then like Jennifer is like a different person.
Yeah. But it's also like Crispin Glover wasn't in the second one, so they can't show him. Like,
no, they did show him.
In the past. Well, they showed him in the past.
Okay.
They showed him, and like it was like a big issue. Like,
okay.
It, like set like a legal precedent.
So what they did with that is they used for the past scenes, they used like B-roll of him or deleted scenes essentially, right?
Right.
And then for the future scenes, they got a new actor, and they had a cast of his face for something from the first movie, and they made prosthetics to make that actor look more like Crispin Glover. And then Crispin Glover sued them over it, and he won. Because they felt they appropriated his likeness, which, I mean, I don't disagree, right?
So is that where that whole, like, the whole idea of appropriating likeness, like, came from? Where you, like,
I don't know if that's where it came from, but he set a precedent where you can't just, without permission, reuse somebody's likeness in a sequel or whatever, right? Like,
right. You can't try to put a person in a movie that they didn't agree to do.
Well, I mean, like, I think what happens now is they just like buy the likeness rights outright when they do contracts, right? Like,
right. I mean, they probably thought, well, we own the movie and he's in the movie, so we own the rights to the footage we're putting into it. I'm sure that's what they were thinking, but
Well, it's like Lucasfilms like essentially owns the likeness of all those actors, right? At this point, like I'm doubtful that Mark Hamill or Harrison Ford get any money from the action figures, you know, and all the stuff. And they can like it looks like they can essentially just reuse anybody's likeness, and I guess he just must have the rights to do it.
Should I just pop in Klonoa really quick?
Yeah, if you want to.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
I can't believe. I know that's like it's almost 11:30. That's why I wanted to just.
Oh, I didn't realize it was
wow.
far after 11.
Yeah, I made it 50% through.
Oh wow! Yeah,
that's impressive. So this story mode does include and Knuckles, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
I'm surprised. In some ways, I'm surprised that you're at 50% at this point because Sonic 3 and
Knuckles is pretty long. Maybe. So long. Well, I guess it's 4 games, right? So maybe they count each game as 25%, maybe.
Yeah, but you're not half. Well, I don't know.
Well, because you have Sonic 1, Sonic CD, Sonic 3 and Sonic CD, Sonic 2, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So like, I don't think that they're counting the length of how long the actual games are. I think they're counting it as 4 games, 100% split to 25%, right? So the last 25% is a really long 25%.
I don't know. Wonder if this is true. Shadow Mask says that I heard Vader's voice is being done with some kind of AI synthesis now. I mean, I guess tying into the likeness. Now,
Obi-Wan.
James Earl Jones was credited. You have HDR on, by the way.
I know.
James Earl Jones was credited as the voice of Vader in Obi-Wan, but I thought I was surprised. It would be interesting if it was like AI generated or partially AI generated, because I thought Vader was really good, like one of the best parts of the series, and I felt like I've only ever watched like any of the newer Star Wars stuff just once, but I felt like the last time I saw. Did James Earl Jones do Vader in Rogue One?
He did. And I thought he didn't sound. I thought he did not.
I didn't think he sounded very good.
Well, I wonder if what they did, because like even though they're deep faking like Luke and all this sort of stuff, they still do have Hamill on set, right? To try to help do it. And so I wonder if what they did is they had him do the lines and then they fed it through this like filter.
Yeah.
That helped. Because the thing is in Obi-Wan, he sounds young, right? Like, he actually sounds young.
I just remembered him sounding like old and off in Rogue One.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 90 years old. So, like...
Yeah. So it makes sense. I mean, no. I mean, hey, I understand, Mr. Earl Jones.
Yeah. But no,
he did sound like he sounded very authentic to the original movies in Obi-Wan. I was surprised.
I do think though, with this specific character, they have it must be easier to do it because he's coming through like a filter, right? So like you can a lot more easy like hide like imperfections in that, right? But there is, I'm pretty sure in Obi-Wan there's a credit for some sort of voice AI thing. I'm pretty sure.
Interesting. Man, I saw a video clip recently on YouTube of it was just Mark Hamill talking at some convention, and he was like telling stories of him like hanging out with Alec Guinness, and like he does this Alec Guinness voice like so many times throughout, and it was just like I couldn't believe how I mean he's like I can't believe he's like not in like everything with voice acting. Like, well, he's just like so good.
Have you heard his impression of Harrison Ford?
Oh yeah, that's really good too.
He's so like it's so like I'm like, why don't you get him to like
do every character in Star Wars?
like when they're doing voice acting, like just get him to do.
I know
Luke and Han, right?
Well, I mean, the thing is though, he doesn't really sound like Luke anymore.
You know, the thing about that is though, like, I don't care if he sounds older. Just get him to do it. Like, I mean, he doesn't they had, other voice actors do like Luke and Wedge and like the old Rogue Squadron games. Like it was good old Bob Bergen, who was the voice of Lupin the Third, and he's the voice of Porky Pig.
Okay.
That's who did Luke in most of those old, like, Masters of Terras Kazi and all that. That's who he was.
Masters of Terras Kazi.
I remember I got some magazine, like an EGM or a Game Pro or something, and there was a poster for that in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this looks so cool, when I had that on my wall for so long. And it's such a like cheese ball, like unbalanced game.
Zane's dad, notification, he's been a member for 18 months. This sounds almost so surreal. I am reluctant to believe it, but Zane's dad is such a good dude. I feel like I must believe it. He says, my mom went to high school with James Earl Jones when he used to stutter. He called her Atlas because she was a tough girl. That is, I mean, that's such an incredible story. I can hardly believe it, but I mean, I guess
that's
I
pretty
guess
awesome.
It must be.
That's a good nickname.
That is super awesome.
See, I felt the same way with the Wii remake. Like, look, he's like clipping through his thing, his collar, but it just doesn't have the same emotion as the FMV in the original does. No matter what they were to do, doing it all in engine just does not have the same kind of feeling or emotion to it.
Yeah.
I mean, the 15 frames a second that I assume it probably was. I don't know actually what the speed probably literally gives it a more dreamlike quality, right?
Yeah.
Oh, those cinematic. So when I first played this, my friend loaned it to me, and it was the Japanese version.
Mm-hmm.
And so I played this game, and I learned how to read katakana and stuff. So
really?
So I was trying to I was puzzling out what the character names were. I remember being so thrilled that I figured out the one villain's name was Joker. I was like, Joker. Oh, it's Joker. I was like, oh, so I was figuring out all of that stuff. And it's interesting that because there's the big twist, and I don't want to spoil it, but that I was still able to get the through line of this game without being able to read all the dialogue of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so and then I still got what the ending was, right? Which sort of talks sort of shows what visual sort of storytelling can do.
Yeah, I mean, I originally played the Wii version, and
you were not impressed originally.
I was not that impressed originally, but you have to also understand that was the time when I was had been really hardcore working through my backlog, and I was very much
gotta, really grab you.
I was I mean, I think this was probably, it might have been after I beat my backlog, but I was, I think there's also a tendency when you're I don't know, I guess I felt I should be critical of games or something, and I'm not I'm much more easygoing, but I was very much, I mean, I'd been recently going through, really tough as nails platformers and stuff, and this kind of easygoing thing where one of the things that annoyed me was that the enemies always respawn. And
it's in service of the mechanic though, because you need them
because it's more of a puzzle platform.
Yeah.
And I don't think I appreciated that properly at the time. And it was just kind of this, I mean, it's kind of hypocritical because I've always been such a massive Kirby fan, and Kirby games tend to be very easy, but I enjoy them all the same. But I'd been playing a lot of really tough NES and Super Nintendo and platformers and stuff, and I always thought the enemies always respawn, so it's just not satisfying to defeat them. But then when I played Klonoa 2 only maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it kind of clicked with me that
there's a reason why they respawn.
Well, it's more of a puzzle platformer than just a pure action game.
And not nearly as much as the Game Boy Advance games are, but definitely.
Right. But it's I appreciate what was going for much more, and also I did end up with a Japanese copy of the PlayStation version, and so just like you, I was playing through that Japanese PS1 game as well, and it's like it's a very comfy game to play, even when you can't totally understand it, because like you say, it's like very visual storytelling. It does not really need words so much.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember I ended up renting it from Blockbuster to, I was like, oh, I really want to know what the dialogue is, so I ended up doing that. But I remember playing through it and being like, well, I understand it more, but I still got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I love this game. Like do you if you get to the end of it, there's like the Baloo's Tower, right?
Right. And that's where you really
have to know.
Well, and it really shows the potential of the simple design, like what you can do with it, with only two buttons, and just
it's a 2-button game. I mean, I always I have a massive respect for games that have all these buttons on a controller, and they have the guts to say, you know what, let's just not put a million functions in this game.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that we said about Balan Wonderworld.
Well, and I liked Knack when I was like, wow, here's this game that's supposed to showcase this powerful new hardware, and it doesn't even use the shoulder buttons. I was like, I kind of saw that as ballsy. I respected it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, these are really, really good games. I appreciate them much more than I originally did on the Wii, and I don't know if that's necessarily because I saw that the PS1 version is better than the Wii version or anything, but this does look quite good, I think.
Yeah,
I was kind of with you, where I didn't think.
Come on, I don't be able to show you the pixel filter.
Oh yeah.
It looks like a 3DS game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they were trying to do. I could see it as like a cool rendering mode, but to call it a pixel filter, it feels as though they're trying to say, hey, this is what it used to look like. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It actually looks cool, I think, but
in the
low color depth, it is actually kind of cool.
It is,
but it doesn't look like anything.
Yeah,
I could see a game made in this style would be cool.
Yeah,
but it feels like, oh, we want to make it look like a PlayStation 1 game, but this is not what a PlayStation 1 game looks like.
Yes, exactly.
Man, you know what I love the look of is that what's it called, Frogums or Frogun or something like that.
Frogun, yeah. Oh,
that was on Limited Run's Fakey 3 thing. Oh my gosh, that looks unbelievable.
Because it looks like a Mega Man Legends
yes
style. Right? Oh yeah. Well, I've been following the creator of that before it was picked up for a long time because I love the style of it. And I've worked in art and stuff like that, so I follow a lot of art Twitter, so that stuff gets the people who are working on that stuff show up a lot in my feed. So I've been following that for a long time, and I was so happy that it got picked up. That and I was watching the guy who was working on Cyber Shadow for 3 years or something, following their Twitter, and I was like, oh, this is so cool! I can't wait for this to come out.
That has not gotten a physical release yet, has it?
Cyber Shadow? No, I'm surprised. I would buy that, straight up. I love the aesthetic of that game. That seems so cool. This it's weird because it's using some sort of it feels like this is an accident, and they're let's include it.
Yeah.
It's oh, this is a cool accident because it's using some sort of posterized filter on the background to cut the colors down to 16 or something. It's really cool. Though I think it looks like they took the Wii game as a base and then cleaned it up a lot. It looks real good.
And made Klonoa look like he looks like in the original. I guess.
Oh yeah.
I was with you where I wasn't quite sold on the look of the cutscenes, but the game itself looks quite good.
Yeah.
For sure.
I wonder if there's a 120 FPS mode.
I don't know. From what I understand, though, is that the Switch version does not run great.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I mean, that's not shocking.
Yeah,
that's a bummer.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's so weird that, like, you know, developers used to be able to, you know, design games optimized for, you know, that tier of hardware when it was PlayStation and Xbox. But it's just like, oh, we can't like use, we just can't use the same graphic techniques and fidelity that made it run well, you know, on Xbox 360 or PS3. We can't use those techniques on Switch.
Well, because it feels like, because you're not programming as bare to the metal anymore.
That's true. I mean, I'm sure this is Unity. It's got to be, right?
Oh, I must be something like that. Yeah,
it's either Unity or UE4, but I suspect it's probably, and not to beat up on Unity, but you're absolutely right. Like, that's why the Digital Foundry guys have been kind of lamenting the sort of standardization of game engines, because you know, there's less and less incentive for programmers to really learn that, you know, coding to the metal, you know, to learn how to do that well. Because like, I mean, basically you're hired by Epic or Unity, and, you know, like it's becoming more difficult for, you know, developers who have traditionally used their own technology to afford that talent.
Well, I mean, look at it. Like, I think about this, like the Fox engine was amazing, right?
Yeah, it was used in one game. Well,
it was used in
whatever that zombie thing was.
Well, no, there's 3, because it was used in Metal Gear Solid 5. It was used in Metal Gear Survive. It was also used in like Pro Evolution Soccer for 1 year.
Oh god!
And like, it's like, think about how they put all the money in development in that, and then they just threw it away, right?
Yeah.
Like, whereas they could just have switched to Unity or Unreal or whatever, Crysis or whatever, and saved money, because like whatever they develop for that can be exponentially used on all their other games, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, to be fair, like, you know, aside from some of the low texture problems, like, man, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, like, it looks great.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, the characters rendering and everything in that, like, I mean, it sure doesn't hurt from using, you know, sort of this standardized engine. But yeah, I mean, it's a little concerning to think of, you know, programmers that know how to like really design an engine to, you know, a console's strengths, you know, not being like, you know, actually at the studio where the game is being developed, you know, that becoming more and more of a rarity. That is certainly a little bit of a concern. Yeah.
I do want to say really quick, I didn't realize until just now that Klonoa is just like not wearing a shirt in the first game, just has the collar on. And then in this game, like, now Klonoa is wearing a shirt with a big zipper on it, but doesn't have the collar anymore. It's interesting because this one it skips you to like the 3rd level or 2nd level.
They must have figured that was the fun thing to
you know, they should include as a bonus in this the Klonoa designs that, like, they remember when they tried to like completely redesign him as like a totally different
for the Wii
kind of creature. Like, he wasn't even the same kind of creature.
Well, he had like the American pointy ears or something like he was
like a rabbit.
But there was like all those things that you could vote on, right? Like,
you know, having worked on the manual for that, like you know, that never, like, I wonder if they really considered that, because like there was nothing beyond that design that they showed. Like, because like everything that I got was just plain Klonoa.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if they put that out there. Like, I wonder if this was one of those things where they were like, higher ups want to change this,
but then like in the studio they were like, this is not going to fly. And
yeah, like,
never
people
really made any work on it.
Yeah, like, I mean, I have no insider knowledge of that, but like, I always thought like, oh, somebody a higher up wanted this to happen because they didn't think it was appealing to Americans. So let's float, so they're like, let's float this idea. And then, of course, everybody on the internet was like, no, don't do this. Like,
yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, come on, don't change Klonoa. No. And, then they didn't, right? Because, like, I never, like, they did all the renders. And, like, I got, like, all the renders and stuff. Like, there was nothing ever like that. So I can't imagine.
I'm glad that they kept they were going to, well, in the Wii version, he does have, like, it has, like, an English voice also, but they kept the gibberish, the Phantasy language.
I still think it would be funny though if they like just. I mean, it would be a nice tribute to a weird moment in history if they like made some of those designs as playable.
Make it like a unlock. That would be kind of funny. Yeah. But I forgot about the language where he's like, Padu, Padu, like all the time. He's like, Padu. Like, Padu was thanks in Phantomillion, if I remember right. Like, whenever he would say Padu, he's like, Padu! Like, he would say that.
My favorite is this, is when he says, doopity-doo. Right here. Here you
go. Is the music redone in these?
No.
No. Okay.
No,
so the awesome snowboarding Wahoo song is going to be exactly the same.
Yes, it's
that is a masterwork.
Yes.
Song.
This is I remember playing this game and thinking like, oh, it's just going to be another platformer, and then just instantly falling in love with the enemy mechanic in this, like the jumps and the throws, and like it was the first game I was like, oh, it's 2.5D, but it like. That's part of the mechanic. It's just not like a aesthetic thing. It's like actually, you have to throw stuff into the foreground, background, right?
I feel like this is like the quintessential 2.5D game. Like, because I can't think of too many other examples where the levels are designed so organically and how they like twist and curve in all sorts of weird directions. Like, I feel like a lot of games that try to be 2.5D either deal in like very rigid planes or something like that. Whereas Klonoa, I mean, it could just twist and curve and go all over the place. Like, it doesn't really feel like it was built with like rigid, like level design tools or something like that. It's just like they just sculpted this world to like go in whatever path they wanted it to.
And it was always neat, like, oh, I went around this mountain and now I'm here, but I was over there before, and I can see where I was.
Yeah.
And like I'm not that far where I was, but I traveled. Like, it was so neat. Like this game, more so than a lot of later generation like newer platformers, the world feels unique and interesting, like lived in, right? Like
and it really
Klonoa 2 in particular has like this crazy sense of scale where like it shoots you off like through the cannons like so far away, or like the perspective shifts down and you see like, whoa, I am like so high up. Like, this would actually be really cool to get like a PSVR mode where it's just like,
oh god,
from your like not like from Klonoa's perspective, but like it's just like you looking basically at the game view the way it is, but you can like look down and around, or you can like lean forward a bit and like sort of like take a closer look at like how the environment like twists and turns. Like that would be so cool.
Yeah, Pandemonium is like I just bought Pandemonium 1 and 2 like together off of eBay. That's like a
Pandemonium is neat, but I don't think it is as interesting as this.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, Pandemonium needed to happen for this to.
Probably, for sure. Like, yeah.
Which game is Pandemonium?
That's the Crystal Dynamics 2.5D. Like, that's the first time.
I know I've seen it before, but I'm just having a hard time conjuring.
It has two really like generic gesture like characters as the main characters.
Yeah,
but it's a neat game.
In fact, the Japanese version has like a really awesome name though. I can't remember what it's called though.
And the Japanese version changes the characters too to be like cool like anime characters.
Yeah. What is the for people in the chat, like what is the Japanese version has like such a cool name? I cannot remember what it is though, for the life of me.
I feel like did you play it on a stream at some point?
I may have, but not like as the main game.
Magical hoppers.
Yeah,
is what we're called in Japan.
Yeah.
Magical hoppers.
It definitely has like anime characters and like they're
they changed
Pandemonium
it.
sounds very like serious times for serious America.
Well, it's like
games.
was it that it reminds me of that the treasure game Stretch Panic.
Oh yeah.
And then in Japan it's called Hippolinda.
Is the main character named Linda?
I can't even remember.
I don't like
I wish I bought that game when I had a chance.
The priestess character and the dog character. I don't like their designs in Klonoa too. I kind of hate how they look.
Well, I don't mind the priestess, but what is
the dog? I mean, I don't like either of them very much.
I was like, he doesn't have Pupo in this because like he's something different, right? Yeah.
I mean, I like the characters.
Lolo or Lola, yeah. Yeah, because I'm looking forward to in the other place.
I'm looking forward to this because like I don't know if I'll ever get Klonoa 1 again. So
when is this coming out? I've got the PS5 version pre-ordered on Amazon UK.
It comes out in 2 weeks. I think it comes out the 7th, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I haven't ordered from like Amazon UK, but it's not gonna be here until like a week after that.
One thing I always loved about the Klonoa logo, and I was mad about the Wii logo because it's so like simplistic.
Yeah,
is that when they adapted the logo, like the title is like Kaze no Klonoa in the Japanese version, and it's got the no as that swirl, and so they integrated the no as the O's for Klonoa in the English logo. So like the O is the Japanese symbol for no or of. So like I always thought that was really cool. Yeah. That they integrated that to the logo. Like they really recreated that Japanese logo in English, which is like for me that's like one of the things that inspired me like when I like design a logo for like an old anime or whatever, like I try to like come up with like that interpretation of the original that still has the spirit of the original, right? Like I love that because like they could have just thrown it out and been like whatever, but they're like no, we're going to put the no in there and like make it look all cool and stuff.
That's pretty nifty.
Oh, we could probably sit here and talk for.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was almost midnight.
Yeah, it's pretty late.
This is super fun. This is super fun just to kind of talk about all this stuff. And thank you for joining us, Brady. It was awesome. Like you're welcome back anytime. You want to be on again? Just let me know.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you. No, I mean, this is super fun. Like, I mean, like, you know, working in games, I love games. So, like, and this is the stuff you guys play are the kind of games I like. Like, that's why I hang around your stream and, like, you know, like super chat stupid jokes. It's like, oh, man, I'm going to have to spend, like, $3 to send this stupid joke to them. Much easier when I'm on the stream.
Any video going up before the month is over? I don't think we're quite ready. I mean, I have been like, for my part, I have like, I think things are going to be cooling off pretty soon, but I have just been like inundated with like never ending freelance work, which has been good for money, but bad for getting Analog Frontiers done.
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah, I am very much sorry about that, but I'm hoping within like the next week, I'll finally be able to like start making Analog Frontiers progress again.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, I've been in a similar situation, like with my regular job, but it's kind of coming to an end. You know, it's like there's only like 3 more, I think, of the thing that like I've been working on, and like I've been in various states of like scripting different things also. And I have this idea of just to like go from one to the next and just get myself back into like a good routine with stuff. I'm really, really sorry about that. And, you know, and a big part of it is like I think that after like doing Mister, like I like was feeling like really burnt out. And
it's like 1,000,000 hours. No, of course you guys are burned out from that.
But at the same time, like I feel bad that there hasn't been like anything like big, and it's like I'm constantly thinking about it. It's just that it's just like I've been in a place where
it's been really hard to have the time.
And then like
with other work we have to do.
And also it's just been you know, like before you know it, it's like, oh my God, it's like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. It's like, how did it even get to this point? So I really do apologize. Like I've been doing this, like it's going to be my tour video, but I have like, you know, I have a couple of other things in various places right now as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I was working on that upgrade version of the Saturn VHS thing, and I haven't had time to finish that. Like, I was going to put that on your B-roll channel, and I just haven't had time to. Like, it's so hard to find time to work on like passion stuff.
Yeah, and you know, I feel really bad. You know, it's just like I said about like I was just feeling like real burnt out after Mister, and it's just like it was like really hard for me to get like refocus myself, I guess. And I think that in a way like I needed to just kind of step back for a minute also.
Well, I mean, when you focus on something for like 12 hours a day for 4 weeks or something or whatever you're doing, right? Like there's a normal human response where you don't want to look at it, right? Mm-hmm. Like if I'm editing like a 26 episode series with subtitles or something, like I can't just do all 26 episodes in a row. Like I have to like, I'll do 5 episodes and then work on credits or an extra or something, like video edit or something. Like you just can't, like, I don't think the human psyche is built to just do repetitive machine work like that. Like it needs breaks. It has to.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I needed to just like step back and like let myself just, you know, live my life for a minute. I guess. And like I feel bad. Like I think about it every day. Like I was like, I can't believe that like I haven't gotten this video done yet. But like hopefully
you'll get it.
Yeah, it's happening. Anyways, on that note, thank you to everybody who hung out tonight and everybody who donated. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a great week ahead of them. And
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's super cool to have you on and just like, you know, like it was nonstop conversation. That's good. lots of interesting subjects touched upon. Anyways, good night, everybody.
Peace out. Have a good Monday.